Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to Rise and Shine College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Rise and Shine College Football. Welcome into the show, everybody. Ryman Lemon, first in, first to speak. Remember to not feed the trolls. Oh, the trolls. They're always here, always here, always here. That's all right. We love them too. Good to see everybody this morning. Comanche Sooner, good to see you, sir. Good morning to Jason and the Hall of Fame Mafia. Love it, love it, love it. Coach Ricks, welcome in. I think the old Looney. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sooner Freak. Yeah, we're going to talk about all that. But as we're going to be welcoming in, obviously, Mike Boganowski Sr. And we're not going to go too deep into it with him and this stuff. That's not a good thing for him to be talking about. So we're not going to do a lot of that. Do need to talk about what's going on, though. I mean, obviously, you got a big week coming up. Cannot afford to be losing a game to South Carolina at home. So some things you're definitely hoping to see a little bit better than what we saw Saturday in the Red River shootout. 34-3 loss to those hated Texas Longhorns.
The brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand.
Still got to throw them down every time we get an opportunity to do so. Coach Ricks. Kimberly K, welcome into the show, Kimberly K. Good to see you, Daniel Looney, Sooner Freak. Mars Jams, Rob077. Who else we got in here? Stephen G, what's up, my guy? Kaja Goated, it's 9:18, and yeah. Oh, man, that's funny. Charles Crows fly high. Whoa, I don't think that's happened just yet. I think it may be about to happen. I think you're going to know a little something once we see press conference for Brent Venables today. You know that's going to be probably one of the first things that they talk about, I would think. Is it strange to see a Mizzou fan disappointed that OU lost? Well, not necessarily for you. Not necessarily for you. You're a good friend of the show. You know that we're upset. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We definitely need to play better this weekend. Tough time. You know, something I want to talk to Big Mike about when he gets in here. And I've been to a few of these things, so I can tell you how I feel about it. But to be honest with you, Sooner Cowboys, don't think I didn't pay attention to a lot of the stuff that you had to say yesterday. And I want you to relax on some of that stuff, bud. Okay? Do me a favor. Let's see. Injuries happen, though. You know, I mean, and this is a unusual amount of ridiculous injuries, and let's not forget that we're talking about 4- and 5-star guys, not really 5 stars. Not many 5-star guys as receivers, but guys that are 5-star talent anyway. We all know that the recruiting rankings are not the end-all be-all to everything. I know some people think that they are more than others, but, you know, it is what it is. Sooner Freak, let's see. Clint Pinkney. Who else we got in here? I'm just going to choose not to say anything about some of those things. Just not going to do it. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I think you're going to have to. I mean, that's about all you can do at this point. I mean, in the end, when it comes to what they're doing offensively, I think that there's a lot of things that are contributing to it, including the injuries, things like that. In the end, you got to be better in all facets of that offense. There's a lot of stuff going on that is contributing to it. It all has to come together. You know what I mean? You got to protect the quarterback better. Got to call plays better. You got to get open. There's a lot of things that was going on. Some of the, sitting where I was in the area of some of the parents and that. And I'll just say that, you heard some things that made a lot of sense, but the defense is doing its job. The defense is doing its job. And so you have to expect that at some point you're going to whether it's with the brand new quarterback and with a bunch of new receivers and all that kind of stuff, a lot of that, nobody wants to hear that shit. Nobody wants to hear excuses. They just want to see results. And in the end, you have to you flat out have to be better. You just flat out have to be better. And I'd say that that's a given. And as much as anybody, I want to see Oklahoma win, but it is what it is. Yeah, I did see that. And I agree. There's a hat missing in what trophy case? Oh, yeah. Wow. Bevo's bodyguard. Welcome back. Both QBs shined in the spring, summer, and fall camps, then get in the game and crumble. Look, it's spring game doesn't really tell you a whole lot. I think it tells you a little something, but you can't take a ton from that. As far as the summertime, we don't know what's going on there. They're working with Schmitty. You know what I mean? They're working with each other, getting used to each other when it comes to quarterbacks and receivers, things like that. Look, I think that in as much as anything, and I said this last night on the show, I'll say it again. You've got to have a game plan that makes some sort of sense as to what you're trying to accomplish. And I'm not just talking about winning, losing games. In a situation like this, you want to try to ugly this game up. And I think you were doing that to start off early on. Run the football, though. You've got to run the football. Once they got into some run plays, that were working off the edge, things like that, not running into the teeth of this defense, it started to look like they could move the ball. Then you seem to go away from it, though. And that's it's hard to understand what we're doing. Welcome into the show, Stink-ass Cat. T-Boomer says, good morning, Jason. I'm more pissed with this game than the 49-0 game. Yeah, I think that's kind of the consensus. At least with the 49-0 game, you could somewhat understand it because of the fact that quarterback room had been completely decimated when Lincoln Riley left. And then the guy you bring in, Dylan Gabriel, gets hurt the week before. He's not going to be back because of the concussion. Ended up having to use a tight end at quarterback at times because Davis Bevel was not ready to play. I just think that you couldn't have expected much from him at that point, and you got less than that. But I don't know. But with this game, this is a game you come in and look, on paper, sure, Texas had some advantages, I guess. But as we talked about, they had not been tested. They had a rusty quarterback coming back in who I would tell you that Quinn Ewers didn't play his ass off in this football game. First series out of the box, you get an interception on him. You don't get any points out of it. That's a momentum swinger. Then you get another stop. You end up with 3 points, get another stop, nothing, another stop, nothing. We get to the end of the first quarter. You're up 3-0. You probably ought to be up 10-0 or better even. Those kind of things when momentum shifts like that, and then, all those 3 and outs, that's tough, man. And after a while, you've got a defense that's now getting tired because it's on the field way too damn much. Way too much. Had some uncharacteristic missed tackles, though. They weren't perfect either. But I would just say that at some point, you got to make sure that you are playing complementary football means that you're doing what's best for both sides of the ball. And right now, we're not seeing that. So, there's plenty to say, but I think that you came into this game, and there's a reason why people are a lot more upset is because you come into this game expecting more from this football team, and you just didn't get anything. This is 2 out of 3 years that you haven't put a touchdown on the board against Texas. Now, as I said, I give props to Texas for being better than what I thought they were defensively. But I don't believe that it's that much better. But 34-3 really could have been a lot worse. It could have been worse. And it was bad as it was. It could have been worse. But all right. Let's see. I think that I don't know that I feel like it's close right there as far as losing players or whatever. I think offensively, yeah, maybe a little bit. But this is just an opinion. I don't know what I really think. I haven't heard anything like that. I mean, you hear rumors about this and that, but those have been going on for weeks anyway, and that was with 1 loss. You know what I mean? Anytime you have a quarterback change, I mean, as we saw even with Spencer Rattler, whenever they went to Caleb Williams, you have some division in the quarterback room, maybe even on the team a little bit because somebody believes this or believes that, and they make their friends and their allies, I guess you could say. I think that happens some, but I don't think it's come to that. Now, offensively, I think when you're out there and there's a lot of things not happening the way you want them to. But we talked about this the weeks leading up to that, is that when you got when you have a guy like Michael Hawkins that can do so many things, he can throw the ball. He throws the ball very well. People that don't think he does, you're not paying enough attention. Was he great the other day? No, but I don't know a quarterback in the world, period, anybody. I mean, we can talk about Patrick Mahomes. Do you think if he had people in his lap at a second and a half that he'd be as accurate as he is all the time? No, he wouldn't be. But he has, and he's got an offensive line that's one of the best, one of the best in the National Football League. And it's a lot of times it's been anchored by former Sooners that played for Bill Bedenbaugh. There was a lot of injuries there too. There's a lot of things, again, that have kind of conspired to have this thing kind of be what it is at this moment right now. I don't know that you can afford to not make a move if you're BV at the moment. I think that it has to happen. I hope that it happens sooner than later. I would not wait until you had another embarrassing loss to make that move, and had another offensive output like what you had this past weekend. Now, what I will say is not everybody is the Texas football team either. We're not going up against them week after week. I think that after this week, though, you do turn around and you play an Ole Miss team that looked pretty damn good on the road. They did lose, but they looked pretty good. I was watching that game last night after I got off with the stream. Well, we'll see. And I think this is fair. It started with Jaden Gibson. Has been downhill since. I mean, Jaden Gibson would have been big to the team. I think that this is where you want to find out what's going on with these other kids. Guys like Ivan Carrion. I want to see more from him. I just saw something. Somebody was asking me something. Let me see. Should we start playing more freshman linemen, O-line players? Because, yeah, well, maybe. I mean, maybe. I think that you definitely need to get young. You need to go ahead. If we're experimenting with stuff and worried about this or that, I think that you definitely have to. There's some things you definitely need to find out. And to me, I think that one of the things you're missing off of this offense more than anything is a guy that can get those 50-50 balls, that you don't have to be perfect and the quarterback isn't thinking about whether he should make that throw or not. Because if you can throw one and, get it up there high and a 6'6" guy like Ivan Carrion is over there, then you find out how this works out. Sooner Freak, I don't agree with that. We could have had 0 guys out and this team would have still been this bad. That's bullshit. You know better than that. Come on, man. Well, okay. Keep some red shirts. Maybe. I don't know. I think that it kind of depends. I think when it comes to Ivan Carrion, you got 2 games of finding out whether or not, he's ready right now today. All I've heard is that maybe in practices and stuff and early on maybe in camp that he and JA weren't on the same page. Or, maybe he dropped a ball or 2, something like that. But I would say that when it comes to that kind of stuff, we haven't figured that out in the game situations. And I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see more of that. Well, this is where you got 2 games of eligibility before you have to redshirt him. You can play him 4 games. You play in the 5th one, then your red shirt's gone. But now we have 6 games left. I think you need to find out when you know that you don't have these guys back. I don't know what's going on with Deion Burks. Coach Venables said that he feels like he's going to be ready sooner than later. Okay, cool. Well, let's see him. But I don't know. The reason I say is the play calling and coaching that's not getting players ready. Well, I think it's easy to say that when they're not playing well, but I think it's also easy to just, to assume that all these guys are going to be the same because of wherever they were recruited. I think that you have to give them time to get to that point. No, the game is definitely different when you get in it. And even at practice reps, when they're going one-on-ones and full speed or whatever, it's still different when you get out on the field under the lights. It's just there's just some differences. But the other thing, and I would definitely agree that we're having some issues on this offensive line. I'm not telling you that it's all sunshine and roses when it comes to Big Bill. I don't know that. I don't know. That's just opinion. That's just opinion talking. If we're going to do all that, do I think the players have given up on Seth and JJF? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that I wouldn't give that opinion. I don't think they've given up on their teammates. That's the thing. And this is a team that is close. Yeah, I think we need to remember that. And does this hurt? Losing to Texas sucks. It fucking sucks. There's no 2 ways around it. Nobody loves it. Nobody loves it. But when you go through these things, and I've said this a bunch of times, sometimes you got to go through some shit. You got to go through some shit to get better. And they failed a big test this past week. But that doesn't mean that they don't still want to go and win football games. And they still don't want to win for their brothers and for the guys like Danny Stutzman and Billy Bowman who came back when they could have went to the NFL. They want to win. And they want to win for themselves, for that matter. So whether or not they believe in Joe John and Seth, okay, maybe that matters a little bit. But that doesn't mean they just want to give up on their teammates. Maybe they don't agree with certain things. Maybe they don't love it. But I do know this. I mean, the pride that you have in yourself as a player, it's more of it than There's more to it than that. And to be honest with you, we can sit here and blame coaches all we want to. And hell, that's an easy thing to do. Everybody does that. It's easy to do that. At some point, I would say, as players, you know what? Pick yourself up and handle it. They're the ones out there playing. Whatever the call is, they're the ones not executing it. You know? And I have to believe that, at least to some extent, that this was a game plan that people thought they could get it going with. Now, whether or not it was executed is a lot of it too, though. But it has to be. So it's easy to sit here and just pile on these coaches. And that would include, to be honest with you, if we're going to start doing all that with the coaches, you have to add Coach Venables into that as well. Because this is a hire that he made. You know, it is. It's a hire that he made. If it's not going the way it's supposed to go, then it's his responsibility to figure it out too. I don't care if he's a defensive coach. I don't care. You know defense better than you know anything, but you know college football. You know football, period. You've been in the game for 30 years. So it is what it is, but it is, hey man, the players have to take at least part ownership in this thing and go out there and execute and not make excuses. Nobody's here to make excuses for them. Yep. Stink ass cut. I love this one. The thing that matters most last night. BV owes nothing to anyone but the players. I feel the pain of this embarrassing loss as much as any other fan. And I agree with that. Look, man, the players, you do owe it to your players to get them the best possible coaching you can. I guess it's not the standard. No, it's not. But the standard is also at Oklahoma, Gregory. The standard is also for players to handle it too, right? You got to do it. And I think Big Mike will tell you when he gets in here, and I think he should be here anytime. I bet you he would tell you that a lot of that has to do with players and his son's on this football team. And I don't think, you start thinking about year one of Coach Venables, and a lot of people it was easy to kind of put off a lot of stuff on whether it was Lincoln or, and what he left and didn't leave, which I would tell you that had a lot to do with it, or what they were doing defensively that didn't really fit the guys that they had, all that. And you had former players saying, no, it's not that. You're the one there. He's not the one out there on the field. Right. It's, you got to get out there and handle it. And, one thing I'll say about what Bevo's bodyguard's saying there, Mississippi State scoring 31 on UGA. Look, I think college football's kind of turned on its head a little bit this year. You don't see just the dominance that you're used to seeing from Alabama or Georgia or anybody else. The hell, Ohio State goes on the road. Dan Lanning finally gets a top 10 win. Big win. Good for Dylan Gabriel. Played great, led an amazing comeback win. And you have to start asking yourself what's going on at Ohio State with all that talent. It's funny how all this sounds like Mizzou's fans and content creators. Yeah. BV and staff are paid millions. They owe the fans for their support, or those millions wouldn't be there. Look, man. Yeah, they owe the staff. They don't just owe it to the players or to the fans, though. They owe it to them. They owe it to everybody.
Talpo Grant Super Chat, $10. Man, this season for both our schools feels extremely weird. I was talking with some OU fans the other day, and they agreed. Our problem is Gundy. Those fans I was talking to said it's y'all's OC.
Well, look, man, if you were watching this last night, you know what I think about that. I definitely think that he didn't make a great hire here. Venables didn't make a great hire here. Thank you for the super chat, Cowpoke Ranch. When it comes to Okie Light, yeah, I think that the bottom line, that voice is weird, right? And I haven't figured out how to get rid of it, and I really want to. But when it comes to Okie Light, Gundy, they have an issue on their offense for sure. Oh no, I'm not saying. And listen, man, I agree with you. I agree with you totally. I'm not saying that they do owe the fans. The fans are owed this, but I'm saying you owe this to your players more than anything else. If you're Brent Venables, to get this right on this hire, to have the right person in at coordinator. And somebody said in there that they think Brennan Marion was, I guess, interviewed. I don't think they were. I think there was some feelers out there about interviewing him. And you got to realize he didn't get another job either. And there was lots of jobs that I think he was looking at. Dan Lanning begged Joe C for the OU job. I think if it doesn't work for BV, I bet he still wants it. Maybe. But I don't know. Look, all that, I mean, in hindsight, we can go back and say you should have done this, you should have done that. I'm still not going to sit here and tell you that I don't believe that Brent Venables is the guy for this job. I don't believe that. I believe that he is. Now, do I believe that it's time for you to take your next step? Because listen, until yesterday or until Saturday, you couldn't say that Dan Lanning had done anything special, because he hadn't. Until you do, you don't. And so we didn't know anymore until Saturday that he's necessarily better than Brent Venables or anything like that. All we know is that he's taken the next step. And Beebles Bodyguard, you don't know shit, because Oklahoma, what Oregon coach has actually stayed when another job opened up, first and foremost? And Dan Lanning's an SEC guy. I don't care if he's in the Big Ten right now. Chances they're not going to win the damn thing, just so you understand that. And so would you take the job? I think he probably would. Or maybe he wouldn't, but I would just tell you that at the moment right now, I don't even think that that's a question. They just re-upped Venables on his contract, and all they basically did was added the years to it. But he's here. He's not going anywhere. And the next thing is to get this offensive coordinator position right, because the defense is in a position where it's better than it's been in 2 decades. At minimum 15 years. So it's time for Oklahoma to take that next step there. Right now, it looks like all you've done is just rearrange the trouble. That doesn't mean you can't find it. It doesn't mean you can't find it. And you do have players on this team that can make this team dynamic on offense again if you get everything back together. And that's what he owes this to the most. Yeah, I get it. We're supporting this program with our blood, sweat, tears, and money. We want to see more. Sometimes tough seasons happen, though, and you can't just not acknowledge the fact that there are a ton of injuries that went on that side of the football, on the line and in the receiving room. Not to mention even the running backs. I mean, Taylor Tatum going down. I don't know what's been going on with Gavin Sawchuk. I don't know what's really going on with that rotation. We talked about that too. There's just a lot of weird stuff that's happened that's kind of conspired to hurt the team offensively. Not the least of which is the staff calling the plays. I mean, it's fair to question them. It's fair to say that it's been too much, that you can't do it. But in the end, I would just say that I do feel like overall, it's not, nobody's dead yet. I mean, we're talking about a 4-2 football team You got a chance to get to 5-2 this weekend with South Carolina coming in. They've proven that even though they'll play good games against good competition, they will lose. So if you can come out what you need to do, we'll see kind of how.
Cowboy Grant Super Chat, $5. Dan Lanning is the candidate I think we should be going after. I don't know if he'd come to Stillwater, but with the right money, anything is possible.
Yeah. Pig could fly out of your butt too. You never know. Could fly right out of there. I don't see Dan Lanning going to Okie Light. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I think there's a lot of coaches that would be an upgrade to Mike Gundy, mediocre Mike Gundy, who's not even attaining mediocrity right now. But yeah, I don't see that. Asking for Dan Lanning, yeah. I mean, look, you did take a hell of a lot of money. And I don't know that they're going to compete on that level with Oregon with Oregon money wise. But I don't know though. Here's the other thing: Boone Pickens. They just cashed another Boone Pickens check. They got money. It's not like a money is a huge issue. The issue would be that you would have to talk them into coming to the Big 12 rather than the Big 10. That's the big issue. That's not happening. Yeah, and to play in an inferior conference where you don't have. Look, man, unless you win the Big 12 conference right now, you have zero. You can have a 11-1 season, not win the Big 12, and not be in the playoff. It's just, it is what it is. You're the richest school in the Big 12 right now? Okay. So, again, you're playing in the Big 12. Unless all of a sudden he's going to turn them into perennial 11-1, 12-0 team that gets to the playoff and makes a move, then, and that's a lot to ask for anyone because there is a lot of parity in that league. It's not the same league as even the Big 10, and I'm not a Big 10 guy, just so you understand. I'm not a Big 10 guy that believes a lot in that. But perception from the media and the overall and the money that's flowing into the Big 10 would tell you that they're always gonna err on the side of the big conferences, the Big 2, the SEC and the Big 10. And Dan Lanning's coaching in the Big 10. They are guaranteed a playoff spot at this moment right now, unless they completely tank and lose 4 or 5 games. They could probably lose 3 at this point and still get into the playoff. At Oklahoma State, if you lose more than 1, you ain't going unless you're the conference champion. It's tough. That's tough. What's up there, man? Let's see. Can't get in for some reason. Okay, let me send it again. Sorry about that. Stand by, folks. Try it again. Give it a shot again there. Mm-hmm. Big Mike, what's up, my guy?
Here we go.
Sorry about that. I think it was the same link. I don't know why I didn't pop in.
I just got a spinning wheel. I just had a spinning wheel.
The spinning wheel of doom.
Listen to it on my phone.
Right on. Well, hey, man, good to have you in. Always throw them damn things down.
Never change.
Won or lost. That'll never change. Fuck Texas.
No.
All day long.
We're
talking about a lot of things. Obviously,
yeah.
I want to get your initial thoughts. Obviously, I know what they were, in the stadium. I wasn't going to pass those on to anybody else, but what are your initial thoughts for what we saw from the game the other day?
Yeah, those thoughts were a little loose. couple tall boys, you know, a little loose, but
Yeah,
I mean,
we could have had a couple more.
listen, man. So I don't know if y'all know this, but the Cotton Bowl made me drink beer because that's the only option we had because they were out of water at
I'm
like
glad you
the
brought this
beginning
up.
of the second quarter. It was ridiculous. There was no water.
Mhm.
So the Cotton Bowl, they made me do it. All right. They made me do it.
So you got to get your water somehow.
Hey, listen. Hey, this is a real story, right? So at halftime, I go up, I walk around, I try to find some water somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Nowhere to be found. So there's a little gentleman selling beer off to the side and a little cooler. So I get my allotted amount, right? Well, when I say allotted, I get two for each hand. The guy I was like, how many can I get? He's like, four if you tip me well. I said, that sounds like a deal. All right. So I get four beers for, my wife and my friends that were with us. Well, unbeknownst to me, they went out the stadium to try to find some stuff and get some food. Well, that whole third quarter, I drank those four tall boys because I was thirsty and there was no water and there was nothing. So again, the Cotton Bowl made me do it. All right.
The Cotton Bowl
So
made me
yeah,
do it. Hey,
yeah,
listen.
I was a little worked up. Hashtag that Cotton Bowl made me do it. But yeah, I was a little worked up. But I was still disappointed. Um, disappointed in the fact of how we just didn't look ready. Um, especially on offense. Like I don't understand how you try to run a sprint draw counter, but like you're not running the sprint draw or anything to set up the counter, right? That's the thing about counters. You got to set them up. And I don't know, man. I just couldn't understand a lot of the play calling. And week to week, I sit here and I watch schools scheme people open, to get receivers open, and just a basic, 3-step, 5-step, drop and getting people open. And we don't got none of that, man. Like we had some schemes and some trips and some bunch sets where we got people open, like the one that got called back on Sharp
Yep.
at Auburn on the Roberts, illegal pick. But I mean, I don't know, man. I wasn't happy, and I listen, man. It's just I don't know how it's going to get better. I really don't. Like if you can't see improvement over the 2 weeks that had time to install and come up with a game plan, like
Right.
man, it's rough, man. It's rough out here in the streets. It's rough in these streets, man.
It's rough in these streets. It
Yeah,
is.
like it's rough.
I think it's fair. I think it's fair. I think that's what I talked about last night on the show, and and I totally understand your frustration. I think that's the frustration that Oklahoma fans have too. Is that
Yep.
and it's something that we talked about, Coach Ricks and I. K. Chris was saying it on the Horns Down podcast that when we talked after the game as well, that it was like, man, this is 2 weeks and this is the fucking game plan you come up with.
Yeah.
2 weeks of that, you can't put one fucking touchdown up. One?
Yep.
It's hard to get there. It's hard to understand what it is that, and especially when, we talked about it during the game. I mean, they gave up 13 yards in the first quarter. 13 total yards is what they had.
Yeah.
You had an interception on them. You're in plus territory. You missed a field goal. And that's a momentum swinger right there. When you miss a field goal, that hurts. But
Yeah.
at the very least, you probably should have been up 10-0 going into the second quarter. Now we got a ball game. But when you miss a field goal, there's momentum. But when you when you don't make good on making those stops and you go 3 and out and 3 and out and 3 and out and 3 and out, we're talking 9 3 and outs in the first half alone.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Dude. You know, I haven't got through the whole game. I rewatched the first half. But you know, that second quarter was just a avalanche, man. And you know, it's the last 4 minutes of the second quarter, essentially. You know, like it's just, and, you know, you always hear BB talk about the middle eight, man, and that shit is real. Like I've never heard anybody talk about that before, and like this year it's new to me, but man, we are not good in the middle eight, and it's got to change. We're just we didn't tackle well. There's a couple missed tackles and a couple errors that I saw. I'm not going to dime anybody out, but yeah, there was somebody come in and had a rough couple series, and it hurt us. I'll let you watch it for yourself. It was a shit show avalanche right there, a turnover avalanche, and the defense come out and wasn't gap sound and missed a tackle, and that you get 2 touchdowns put on you real quick when that doesn't happen, you know, especially against, you know, I don't know what third string running back he is, but obviously he's really good because he made a couple of our guys look dumb. Yeah, like it's just you know,
White was really good the other day.
yeah, he's impressed the shit out of me, man. Like
good player, good football player, and
yeah,
that's a guy that should have been at OU. To be honest with you,
yeah.
should have been at OU. He was slated for OU for the entirety of his recruitment until the very end, and you know, again, I won't do this with you in here, but I would just tell you that that's a miss on the part of this staff and what they didn't get done. And I would just tell you that there's some things that need to happen offensively. We know that. Defensively, yes, you saw some missed tackles, but I think, and I wanted to talk to you about this in particular, it's really hard to kind of make that distinction between, you know, when are you on the field too much and then not enough. And a lot of people will be like, well, get off the damn field and you won't be on the field so much. You know, make them go 3 and out and you won't be on the field so much. And I would say that to that end, I definitely understand that. And I think that there were some missed tackles and missed assignments that went on the defense. But I will say that when you make stops early on, you get an interception early on, and you don't get repaid for any of that. I think the natural tendency for me would be that you're going to have these guys on defense. All of a sudden, they know that what this looks like, and they're going to try to make a spark and maybe do something a little more than they should outside of what their assignment is to try to make something happen. How much of it do you put on what the defense was doing versus what the offense was doing, and how much of it is, you know, hey, it's, you know, suck it up, Buttercup, that's your job, you know?
You know, I didn't see too much new from the defense. Like I said, I had to really rewatch. I was watching it, you know, offense, like what Texas did, and offense, like what we were doing offensively, because I just really thought that was the main issue in the game. And you know, we come out and you know we did some good things. You know, we had some shifts. We had a couple more motions, which I really liked. We ran the ball like relatively well, you know, and we just kind of went away and stopped with, you know, some of those outside zone runs. And like I said earlier, we ran that sprint draw counter looking, you know, guard tackle pull thing a couple times, and you know, it worked once, I think, and then other couple times it just got
It looked
blew
like a
up.
broken play to me. It was weird.
Dude, I don't the one that got blew up by Colin Simmons, freshman number 11. Talk about a stud. But man, 10 just running right by him. If he would have kicked him out, he could have cut up in there, and he might still be running. But it's just it's little things like that I saw all over. The first half that I watched. Um, I wanted to get back to a comment I saw in
Which one?
here. I don't,
Which one?
somebody asked me about Mike, and then T Boomer. You hit it on the head. With your assessment of said player. Yeah, it's so he asked me about is my son is he not understanding assignments and not getting playing time? I don't I
I
got to
was
talk.
going to answer that for you too, and that's a no. But go ahead.
I mean, I don't necessarily like know exactly how well he's doing in practice. I talk to him. I say, hey man, I was weak at practice. Are you are you picking it up? And, I get the standard answer. Yeah, I'm practicing well. But like, does he? You know what I mean? Like, he's still young. He's still learning. But I think his playing time is a reflection of who's in front of him. You know, I don't think RSJ played his best game.
He didn't,
Um,
but he's been really good though.
but he's been amazing. Like
Mhm.
he's been really good. And I think this is my personal opinion. I think Mike probably should start seeing more snaps because if there's one thing that I do know, he's gonna come up, be physical, and he's gonna hit you. And I feel like he's a pretty sure tackler. Um, he's still got to get better. He's still got to practice. He's still got to practice better and improve. He's still 18. Um,
Sure.
he's still growing and maturing. Especially on the mental aspect of football, and what it takes to be great. And I think there should be some snap increase. But again, it's just me. I'm a dad. I'm sitting around
Sure.
watching just like you. And those dudes, those coaches know what they're doing. And they're trying to get players, acclimated and not like throwing them out there and blowing coverages and ruining them mentally. You know what I mean? I think there's that balance of setting them up for success and gradually increasing what's going on the field. Um, Instead of just throwing them out there second quarter when an avalanche of shit show's happening, and now he's or just a player in general, now his confidence is shot. But I don't know if he'll stay at safety. I saw that comment. Who knows? Like I said, I haven't really had too many talks with coaches, but my personal opinion is he's one. He's a couple weeks away from some serious eating to be at 220 and up. I don't know how
Which
well.
makes you a linebacker. Is that what you're getting
Yeah,
at? Yeah.
I just I
Biscuit
think
short of a
he would be.
linebacker. Is that it's
But I don't know. Do they want him? Can he still play the free? At that weight, or can he maintain his weight and stay at the 217, 218 range, which he seems to be holding real well. I don't know. It's those guys are professionals, and we have talks. I'm sure we'll have some talks
right.
into the season wise, and but it is he's Mike's a fairly selfless dude, right? Like whatever
Sure.
they ask him, he's not gonna bitch and he's not gonna moan, he's not gonna complain. He's gonna do it. There's a reason why he chose Oklahoma. He wants to be a part of this team. He wants to help the university. He wants to be great. Make this team great. But he's gonna do whatever they ask of him, and that's just kind of the way he is. That's kind of the way I raised him. There was some pushback early when he grew up, but like, hey man, like this is what I'm asking you to do. This is what you need to do. And, I think it's best for you and the team. You can't always think about yourself. I've always been that kind of self, I think about people more than helping people more than I do myself most of the time. But yeah, he's
I
he's that
agree.
kind of kid, man. He's that kind of kid.
Of course he is, and I think that this football team is that kind of football team. I think that he's not the only kid like that on this football program, and that's
Yeah.
look. I think that that's kind of what I was getting at a little while ago. Was that somebody asked if they've given up, if they've stopped listening to Seth and JJF and if they're giving up on their team. I would tell you that maybe look, and maybe speak to this a little bit, that when you're a part of a football team, it's not just about you may hate your coaches. I think that a lot of times people get the idea that you have to love your coaches to play well for them.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not the case. I mean, I can think of coaches that all the way through school that I couldn't fucking stand, and we didn't lose football games. That was all there was to it. You know what I mean? We just didn't. But a lot of that has to do with pride in what you got and playing for your brothers that are on that football team with you. It's not just, and I mean, I think that they love Coach Venables. I know that they do. And I know that they love this football team and this program, and they feel the heat that we as fans are bringing. That, you know, the expectations, I mean, the standard is the standard. You hear it all the time. You think that they are giving up on that? Because I don't. And I mean, I want you to speak to that as, you know, what they want, you know, how Mike feels about this football team overall.
You know, I think, you know, he is all, I mean, he's obviously all in. And I think that, you know, I know some of these, you know, I talked to Okoye, you know, in the stadium, and dude, this is just fuel in the fire. You know what I mean? And I don't think this is fracturing them. If anything, I think it's bringing them in tighter. And it's on the coaches, and you know, it's on the coaches to coach better, and it's on the players to play better because there's mistakes. And if there's one thing that I do know is, you know, these coaches aren't coaching these mistakes. They're not coaching these people to run past
This is what I
blocks.
said earlier. This is what I just said.
They're not coaching that. So I mean, it's equal shares in the responsibility of what's happening on this team, and they know what it is. They know they got to get better. It just hasn't happened yet. And they're going to keep working. They're going to keep grinding. And hopefully, you know, it pans out because, you know, our schedule is not getting any easier. And they know, they're looking at this schedule like, you know, we better get our shit together or it's going to be a rough second half of the season. And I think I think we got to simplify it, man. Like, you know, growing up in the Army, you know, there was a KISS, it's an acronym. Keep it simple, stupid. You know, when you do too much, you know, you make it hard on yourself, you're not very good. And I think we need to simplify it, make it more of a core-based offense and defense. Our defense is doing fine. We got a couple blown assignments, and they scored 2 touchdowns on us. Missed tackle on a blown assignment. I'm not too worried about the defense. But offensively, I think we need to dumb it down and make it a little, get these dudes moving people off the ball, firing off, enough with the counters. Let's run some powers. Let's come on, man. This is Oklahoma now. We run the ball, we move people up front, and we're not doing a good job of it. And we got to get better at it. And I think we just got to simplify. But again, you know, that's why I'm a 45-year-old ex-washed up football player that wasn't very good and joined the Army, but you know, 20 years there. But like I said, man, the game's changed. Maybe that's not the way people think about football anymore, but I'm an old school dude, and I think that's we can see some improvement there in pound the rock. I mean, we got Barnes, man. He wants to run the ball hard. So give him some power plays, give him some leads, you know, give him off tackles, you know, just get him downhill a little bit, man. That's what he wants to do. That's how he runs. And we got to do a better job of you know, tailoring runs to how he is as a running back.
Right. And here's what I would say too. You know, that last thing we just saw there, maybe we're just a bunch of spoiled OU fans. And I think maybe so. And you know, Goated said, no, we're raised on the standard. The standard is not met every year. It hasn't been met every year all this time. And the problem is that we are expecting it to happen tomorrow, right now, this second. And there is a process, folks. There is a process. And it takes time to get to where you were. You got to remember that it was just 2 seasons ago that they came into this, and the cupboard was not full. It was not full, and it's going to take time to get the right players in there to be able to lose a guy and not lose much when you lose a guy. And I think that I don't know that at any point, I don't know of a program in the country that offensively could lose its 5 top receivers and still be okay there. Texas included, anybody. I mean, you could talk about anybody. I'd tell you Ohio State wouldn't be okay in the receiving room. They just wouldn't. And so I'm not making excuses for the coaches. I'm not. I still think that they got to find a better way to get this thing done, because right now they are not inspiring confidence. I don't think just in the fans. I don't think they're inspiring confidence from their players, right?
Yeah.
Anybody. And again, you sit here and you wonder, what is it? The process should have happened in their offseason. I mean, you've got to there. Look, as much as we can sit here and bitch and complain, and yes, we all see the same thing, guys. We all see the same thing. But what do you say to all the injuries? Because I got to tell you, I don't know what else you expect more, and you got to find a way to get it done. And I think that they're struggling to know what to do. And I think that a lot of that has to do with Coach Venables. I think Coach Venables has to make a decision on this hire first and foremost. And I think that he also has to get involved in the game planning.
Yeah, I mean, something has to be done. I mean, when you look at our longest run play of the game was 12 yards, and the longest pass play was 15. Like, bro, that is.
Well, yeah, and somebody said it in here earlier. We're dead last in the country, and
oh god, dude, there's no way we can be anywhere but dead last. Like, we are anemic on offense. Like, we're not threatening. We're not scaring anybody, because we've thrown one deep ball all year that's been completed. And the defenses are just like, yeah, go ahead, throw it. We're gonna play up because we know you're not threatening us downfield. They're bringing blitzes, dude. They're doing whatever they want, and they're not worried about us at all.
Well, we talked about this last week. I think that you needed to hit something big, and it was open. It was open, and they never really went back to it. First shot. It was wide open.
First play of the game.
That's right.
One time. That's it.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, we play like this. If our offense continues to look like this, we ain't winning the game the rest of the year. I mean, besides Maine. Shit, we might struggle with Maine. Shit.
Yeah. I want to say again, yes, it's about to get tougher, man. It's about to get tougher. It's going to be tough against South Carolina. They have a nasty defense. You know that they're going to bring heat right now.
Oh, yeah.
Right now.
Screens, please. Draws, screens, more of it. Just come on. Like, slow these dudes down. Slow these D linemen down. Get them. They can't just be firing off with their hair on fire and not worry about hitting them behind them or screening them or inviting them upfield and dumping them over the top. We have to do something to slow these dudes down, because we're not. And the whole defense is just coming at us.
Sure. And if you don't try to hit those deep plays, then they're going to keep doing it. So at this point, I think I'd love to see Brennan Thompson on more streaks down the field, man. I just would, because they were talking about a guy that you're not going to run with, and nobody is. He's a 10-1 100 guy. Brennan can get down there fast. Jacques Petaway is the same kind of player. Zion Reagan's same kind of player. You need to send these guys. Hell, I don't give a shit if you do 4 verts. Run them all out there, because you're going to, in order to keep up with those dudes, you better have 4 guys that can go. And that's the only way you're going to get these guys out of the box. The only way you're going to do it. Yeah. The only way you're going to do it at this point. And we could talk about the running backs and what they're not doing and this and that and this and that. But until you show them that you can beat them that way, going down the field, why wouldn't you have everybody in the box?
Yeah, there's not a defense that is threatened by us at all. At all. At all. We are not scaring anybody at all. And I don't know Does it seem like y'all are going playing during the game so far? I think I think they had a bad game plan going into the game.
I think it was a shitty game plan myself.
Yeah,
Look, man, and this game plan was coming in. You know, I think that they had a game plan. I think it was a trash game plan. But listen, that I'm going to say this. I don't want anybody else saying it. I'll say it. That goes to Brent Venables. If that game plan isn't crossing his desk, then it should be. And if it is crossing its desk and it's a bad game plan, he needs to fix it.
yeah. He's
It's
got
on you. You're the head. You're the boss.
He's got some decisions to make.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some stuff to figure out, and he's got to make some tough decisions. But that's why he gets paid the big bucks, man.
That's exactly right. And it's fair to question him too.
Yeah,
It's fair to question him. It's fair to criticize to an extent. I don't know that I agree with T Boomer saying we need 4 receivers on the field all times, get the tight ends off the field. I think Bauer Sharp needs to be on the field all the time too. I think he's one of your biggest targets. He's a guy that can get open and a guy that catches footballs. I think that you didn't get enough balls going his way the other day, and that makes me wonder why he isn't more of a focal point in this offense, because we saw how big he could be on the offense against Auburn, and they had a good defense too, guys. Let's not get it twisted.
We have to do a better job of getting like plays for him and getting like dedicated plays to get him the ball. Tight end screen, put him out there in the bunch, run that little, pick play, but make sure Roberts looks like he's running a route, and get this. The dude has to get the ball, because hey man, he's like our major weapon. You know what I mean? He's our guy.
He's a stud. He's a stud.
He's had the most production. That's available right now. That's available, and that's.
No, I agree.
It's frustrating. It's really frustrating. Like I yesterday when we were in Dallas, we were at my wife's friend's house, one of her college friends, and they're over there having their conversations all day, and I just zoned out and thinking about the game, and how many times I did that. How many times I zoned out thinking about the Oklahoma-Texas game yesterday I don't know if that's ever happened before, and I don't know if I've ever been that upset and that let down on a performance, because I really did not see that coming. And maybe I need to chill on the Crimson Kool-Aid or what, but I did not see that happening.
Well,
I couldn't believe. Like I almost felt like I let myself down, because I was like, how did I not see that? But just when you think
a long, lonely ride home the other night for me, brother. I know exactly what you're talking about. A long, lonely ride. Man, I'm like, where the fuck did I get all this from?
I emotionally ate after that game. You know what I mean? Like I emotionally ate some food, and it was of the fried varieties. Okay. And I don't know if you know that every time you turn around at the Texas State Fair, there's some different kind of fried shit.
Everything's
and I was
fried.
eating it all. We were all in it, and we were all taking bites of it. And I've emotionally ate like that in a long time. I think I need to starve myself till about Wednesday, just to try to get back and give myself some get back. Man, that was terrible. Talking about fried cookie dough.
I had a funnel cake on the way out. I had to do it.
Fried cookie dough.
And I had a funnel cake and a corn dog.
Listen, I had a corn dog wrapped in bacon. Corn dog wrapped in bacon.
Yeah, I didn't go that
far. Cookie dough, fried pineapple rings, fried peanut butter and jelly, and there was one other one that we all shared. And let me tell you something, that fried peanut butter and jelly sandwich, boy, that made me want to smack my mama. Boy, that stuff was good. It was too good.
Do they have does OU have an NIL collective for offensive linemen similar to the Pancake Factory? Oh, I don't know that it's exactly like that, but yes, I think that the NIL isn't the problem, folks. It's not the problem. They're getting good. The kids that are the NIL is coming through. There's money at Oklahoma. Let's not get it twisted, folks. Let's not get it twisted and act like we're broke, because we're not. And I know there's certain schools that love to say shit like Texas about stuff like that. That's not the case. So we can blame coaches, we can blame players, we can blame whatever the hell you want to do, but you cannot blame the NIL structure and what they're doing because they've been on top of that since it came through. Spencer Rattler was getting paid. So let's not act like this is going, it's not there. The truth is that nobody's going to sustain injuries the way that the injuries happen. And I'm going to tell you, when you have a defensive line that's as dominant as the one that Oklahoma's is in practice, and you have some injuries like that, you can see where this would go. That's a question that I've had, and I wanted to ask you about this. I know that I heard Legend talking about this with you one time, and I think I know what your answer is, but I want to ask you, do you think maybe the going full bore in practice has been a problem for some of this team? I mean, with the receivers getting injured, I would just say that much. The hitting as much as they hit, ones versus ones, let's go full speed. Do you think that that's an issue that may have hurt Oklahoma to some extent? And I just want to know what your thoughts are on it overall. Should there be more hitting in practice, less hitting in practice? What?
So it depends. Are you talking like before the season or during
During
the
the
season?
season, right now, during the season, but I would think before the season, you ended up with a lot of injuries, right?
Yeah.
So
So
that would be my question. Go
I'll
ahead.
break it up into two. I'll break it up into two segments, right? So before season, I don't know if they're doing enough hitting in enough toughening period, right?
Uh-huh.
Because you have to build your body up to get through the rigors of a long college football season. And I've always, I'm like I said, man, I'm old school, man. When I first showed up at New Mexico State, we did my first freshman year, we did 3 weeks of two-a-days. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we were practicing at 5 in the morning. And before the sun come up, before it got hot, like all I did was eat, sleep, and have a meeting in football practice. I had no idea. I lost all concept of time. But I think you have to have you have to go harder, and toughen your body up. And there's going to be some dings and there's going to be some bruises, but you have to go harder and toughen up. And I think it's a little bit. I think there needs to be a little bit more. And the governing bodies, they've stepped in and said, hey, you can only practice this much, and you can only have meetings this much. So, and I'm telling you, if you let that choice up to coaches, they practice harder and go, longer leading up to the season. Now, for the second half of the question, during the season, you still have to go. Like when I was in school, we still had a segment, a 5 to 10 minute period or two where it was one-on-ones, first defense for offense. And, we had that. And then we had another one, it was just a straight option period, right? It was a straight, it was nothing but options, because New Mexico State, we ran a lot of options. So, we ran option against our ones. And, this I think it was on Wednesdays. I'm pretty sure it was on Wednesdays. Even though, we were playing somebody else, we still had to get that live game speed, get those one-on-ones or good on good, in the middle of the week. And I remember we had a scrimmage, in the middle of one of our bye weeks. We had a scrimmage on a Thursday on one of our bye weeks one year. I don't remember what, I think it was my junior or senior year maybe, but yeah, I'm sure we probably had more. I just don't remember. But yeah, I'm not of the like. I don't think we're going hard enough. Injuries are part of the game, and I just think we're unlucky. We have been unlucky with what has happened. Especially with our receiver core, man. They're snake bitten, man. That's you know that's a tough pill to swallow when you got your top five. And I'm not saying I'm not going to sit here and question these dudes and what's wrong with them, or if they could play, or should they be playing. But
I'm not doing that either.
I mean,
At some
I
point, you got
just
to get in the game or get out, though. I mean, yeah.
yeah, I don't know, what it is with them, but I just feel like there was a little bit more like I'm gonna do whatever it takes and I'm gonna risk it for my team, you know, back in the day. I don't necessarily I don't know if that's the problems right now. And I don't want to say that it is, but and some of it could be taken. We're smarter, medically in football. We have, it's you know, I played with concuss, I got concussed in South Carolina game. I played the second half. I don't remember a damn thing about it. I
Yeah, I've
don't
done that.
remember a thing.
I've done that
That was
before.
that was Lou Holt's first game at South Carolina. I don't remember at nothing at all
Mhm.
the second half of the game. And they that's an example of how it was back then. But like nowadays, you just a little ding, man, you're out. They're taking your helmet. They're smarter with soft tissue issues, joint
Sure,
issues. Like
sure.
hurt. So it's a lot of that's probably taken out of the players' hands. Like
It is.
there's some investment in these players now, and they're probably like, hey, your knee is not right, you're not 100%, you're not playing, or you're not even 75%, you're not playing. You know what I mean? And so I can't say it's on the players. Maybe as the coaches and medical staffs have gotten softer, in holding people out.
Yeah. Well, you can sue. I mean, we've gone through a time in our life where people can sue for anything. But
Yeah.
if you stick them back out there too quickly, and you go to the NFL on their concussion stuff and what happened. I mean, we know a lot more about concussions today than we used to know. We didn't know what CTE was. I
Yep.
can tell you from playing junior high and high school football that I got concussed a bunch of times. I got more concussions in the military. It happens. I played in a game at quarterback in junior high and don't remember the second half
Yep.
or even getting home,
Yeah.
from that game. So, but I played the whole time and,
Yep.
got your ass kicked. It's one of them games where you end up, we were playing, it was my freshman year. I'm on the B team as a quarterback, the A team as a receiver. And, the B team, of course, the offensive line, not quite as good. And we're playing the varsity team of a small school from like 60 miles away. Rough day, that they were breathing down my neck all day. The time that I remember, they were on my ass. So you get crunched and it just kind of happens. But I think that knowing what we know now, you have to be careful, right? You have to be careful with them. The soft tissue stuff, some of the things that it is what it is. I mean, I think at a certain point of the season, you have to expect that you're just going to have some nicks and cuts and bruises and
Yeah.
stuff that you kind of, if you can play through it. Somebody that played during the time that we did, we're like, fuck, get your ass out there. If you can play, play.
If you can go, you can go. Are you injured or are you hurt?
Then that's the way that we
there's a
grew up. Are
difference.
you
Yeah,
injured
there's a
or are
difference.
you hurt? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I was going to get to my man here,
Who are you asking? What's the question?
it was the one by Zach Reynolds. I don't know. Those those doctors and team staffs, like I don't even know how that is.
I haven't heard
Are
anything
those
about that.
are
So I
those
don't know where
people
it's going.
fireable? Can you fire those people? You know what I mean? Like I have no idea. Like I don't know.
James
They're not
Franklin
like
says
football
yes.
coaches, right?
James Franklin says yes, but that also got $10 million for that doctor.
Hmm.
So just so
Yeah, that's I don't know, but like I said, man, like those dudes. I mean, what would be like the only reason like somebody would get fired for that, like a misdiagnosis or negligence, right?
sure.
I mean, if they're doing, why would you fire a guy if they're doing their best to help get somebody healthy and,
Right.
and get them on the field?
Well, and you got to realize that this is why they've taken it out of the hands of coaches and put it in the
Yeah,
hands of medical people, because coaches are going to be like what we just said. Are you injured or are you hurt?
yeah,
Right. And so they're always going to be at odds here where when they're in there seeing the trainers, they're in there seeing the doctors, whatever the case may be, they have to err on the side of being too careful. They have to, because of the fact that you can sue them over anything. Right. But I would also tell you that coaches, and it's Brent Venables, of course. If he's not pissed off at the medical staff, then he's not. I mean, I would tell you that's crazy.
I think it's probably pretty standard, right?
I think you have to be. I don't think that there's probably a coach in the country that loves their medical staff when it comes to shit like that, particularly if you're losing football games.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah.
We tape an aspirin to it and you're back out. Exactly. But that's the point, is you can't do that anymore. You can't do that stuff anymore. And I think that that's where the disconnect comes. But I would tell you that I think that that's happening all over the country. I don't think it's just going on here. Right?
Yeah.
I just don't think that you can definitely fire these guys. You can definitely get rid of them. But it would take somebody like Joe C to do that. And there's no way that
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that Ryan Lemoncar right there, Larry Nasser, proved that. A valid firing right there. Like,
no doubt.
What I mean?
Yeah, he's.
But like, what I'm saying is, like, can you fire a guy over saying, "Hey, so and so's out this week"? If you don't like that recommendation from the doctors, that's something you can fire them for. I appreciate that, Ryan. I mean, that's funny.
But who is saying, Zach, who the hell is saying that the OU medical staff sucks at what their job is? It's easy for you to say that when they're going through issues this year.
Dude,
all of a sudden they turned into shit doctors and not good at their job when look, one season is not the reason for you to make a blanket statement like this, Zach, and you should know this. This is, guys, you know what I pride myself on this show is that I have some of the smartest people in our comment section. I'm getting tired of having to freaking get on your asses and about saying dumb shit like Sooner Cowboys is in freaking timeout because the record never fucking changes with him. And I'm tired of it. Guys, say smart things. Don't make blanket statements. Don't do that about stuff you don't know for sure about. Come on. You cannot sit there and say that just because you have a bunch of injuries that all of a sudden they suck at what they're doing. Nobody should think that. Not to mention, Oklahoma has one of the better medical schools in the country. So I have a hard time believing that they don't know what a good doctor is and what one isn't. I don't buy that shit at all. Silly talk. Oh, BV seems pissed at them all year. Where? Show me where. Show me what the hell you're talking about. I pay attention to everything Venables says. I haven't seen I'm pissed off at the doctors. I have not heard it. Thank you, Kimberly K. This is what I needed to say. These are intelligent people that have to put care first. Do not harm. Do not win more games. Absolutely. That's why you have to have a separation between coaching staff and medical, because you know what? The coaches are going to be like, suck it up, Buttercup, get your ass out there. And sometimes that's not the way to go.
Yeah. Like I said, man, they're way smarter. They know what they're talking about. Like, there's technology and they're smarter than what we are. They're smarter than when I played. There's just advances in technology and in healing methods and all that stuff. Like, you got to trust those dudes because they're professionals in their field, just like coaches are professionals in their field. And you have to be able to take those recommendations and deal with it and move on and figure out what you're going to do next. Now that you know somebody's out, like, okay, how are we moving forward? Like, you can't sit there and whine about it. Like, you got to move forward.
Right. Well, and the other thing is that how happy would you be with a coach that's where he's going to start landing, right?
So, yeah,
if we're gonna start worrying, if we're gonna start blaming everything on the damn medical staff, then you've got other issues.
Yeah, here's the deal, right? This is the bottom line. When it comes to these types of things, and when myself, my wife, and Mike, talked about our decision on where to go, where do we feel the most comfortable with the coaching staff and trust that they're going to take care of our kid in situations like this? Are they just gonna, hey, dude, get out there and play, even though he just got knocked out, because it's gonna happen with Mike just based off the ways he plays. Are they gonna put his best interests in his health, at the forefront of their decisions? Or are they just like, screw it, he's got to get out there and play. We need to win this game. You know what I mean? And that was a huge factor with Oklahoma in everything that I've seen. In it's almost been a year since he's been committed. I think it was October 19th of last year, right? So, everything that's it held up. Like there's nothing that I see out there that, or have heard, that would make me second guess that decision in the integrity and the morals and ethics of this staff. And sometimes you guys might not like this, but sometimes that matters more than winning and losing, and what your record is. Because at the end of the day, man, football ends for these dudes, right? They got to move on in having that, lesson and taught, and being part of your life every day, makes for better young men heading out into the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Cowboys, did you just come in on the other channel, and that's why, or did I accidentally throw somebody else out? Oh, goody. Look, there's a reason. I get it. We're all worried and upset about what the hell's going on. And Zach, I know you're saying you're posing the question because several times when asked about player availability, BV has seemed frustrated. They aren't giving him timelines. I don't think that's the case. I think that he's frustrated about the question.
Yeah,
He
so
was frustrated about
100%.
questions. Yeah,
He's made it abundantly clear that's not his decision. And why you keep asking me about it when you're going to get this availability report on Monday? Like these reporters are just,
he doesn't want to fucking talk about it because he's not going to give it to you if he had it.
yeah, it's not his decision. Like they are basing and posing these questions to him like it is his decision on whether they play or not.
And reporters do this. Hey guys, I've been a sports writer or a reporter of some kind for a long time, and I'm going to tell you this: we don't give a shit what they say. We're going to ask it again, and we're going to ask it again, and we're going to ask it again, and we're going to ask it again. And it's easy for somebody like Barry Trammell to take a jump here and take a jump there and take a jump there because there's some guys that are posing these questions just to see if they can get him hot under the collar. And look, I loved it after the game that he just said, I'm not going to fucking answer that question a few times. Not saying that exactly, but like, I don't know, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I'm not going to entertain it. And I think that that's it more than anything is that you're getting, look, guys, let's not act like the Oklahoma media is the greatest there is out there. Because if we're talking about who's good and who isn't, I'm going to tell you now as a member of the media, you know who the good media is and who it isn't. And I'm going to tell you, Barry Trammell ain't it. He ain't it. And he might be one of the better ones out there in Oklahoma. And he's just full of shit most of the time. He's trying to dig Coach Venable's grave because he thinks that's what he needs to do. He's been doing it since before the season ever started. Long before the season ever started. And, I've got my opinions about that, and maybe I shouldn't go there. In the end, no, I will go there, though. I'm in the freaking media. I've been in the media for a long time. Fuck all that. I know what's going on. And I'm telling you now that these guys are doing a lot of that stuff. They are.
Yeah.
And it's,
and they're going to keep piling on.
See him freak the fuck out like you'll see Mike Gundy,
Not going to happen.
No, he's gonna now. I love it whenever he basically
gets combative.
Looks like an idiot. He's a little combative. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets a little snarky, and I like that side of BV. Not a lot of people see that, and I like that. When he fires back, a question with a question, like, all right, you answer it. You know what I mean? I like that.
Yeah.
And Ryan Lemming, that's a hell of a comment right there. We brought BV in to bring the culture back to Oklahoma in the, like you say, Jason, the microwave era, right? Like This shit don't happen overnight, dude. We gotta be patient. The next, the swiping and swiping, instant gratification. This shit isn't instant. This stuff takes a long
Mm.
time, dude.
When you
And
put a cake
we
in the
are,
oven and it's supposed to take an hour and to be done, you pull it out at 45 minutes, it ain't done.
yeah, this isn't easy, man. Like, show me. I mean, hasn't happened a lot. If it was that easy, you can name a lot of other schools besides Oklahoma and Coach Stoops,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
When it happened, but tell me somebody else that come in right away in college football and turn the program around and won a national championship.
Well, one thing we know, and here's the other thing though, we know this. Here's the hardest thing about it is you're having to rebuild. Coach Stoops didn't come into the same situation.
Yeah.
Right. When it came to look, and I think anybody who's been around long enough to know this, and this is at the time that I was out there. You got to understand that Coach Blake may have lost football games, but they recruited their asses off. And this is before transfer portal time as well. And we've heard, listen, we've heard D-Mac say this before. They may have left if they had that opportunity when Coach Blake got fired because they didn't know these guys. Now they came in and won them over, but once you make that choice, you don't just get to leave. And it's still Oklahoma. But at the time when Lincoln left, guys, it wasn't just that Caleb Williams left and that Spencer left and that, you had a bunch of guys on the defense that ended up going to the NFL probably before they would have, or they transferred. You had people that transferred here and there, but you also had people, that went, and only a few went with Lincoln necessarily. I don't know how many he was trying to take, but I know he was trying to get the offensive guys out of there, the ones that he wanted. The quarterback position itself is tough enough. But the fact is they weren't good on defense to begin with. The guys that got left were guys that he didn't think he needed, even though they had recruited them. Now, Danny Stutzman had proved to be we should all be thankful for that. Ethan, and of course Billy. Got to be happy about that. But if you remember, these are all three of them were guys that were project guys for Coach V. All three of them.
Yeah.
I love Stutzman. His first year under BV, look at what we were hearing from Venables about him. Do you want to be the class clown, or do you want to be the leader? Because we need more out of you than just tackles. We need you to know this defense and take care of it all. There's a big difference, right? In the end, you guys it's gonna take some time. And I think that, look, I said this before the season. I've never at any point predicted a national championship for this football team this season.
Yeah.
Or an SEC championship. I haven't. I thought that 2025 was the target year, 2025, 2026 and beyond. And I'm still there. 2025 may be a pipe dream at this point. I don't know. What we all want to see is progress, right? That's what you have to see. And right now, the offense is an impediment to progress.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a long, hard road sometimes. And, we've progressed on the defensive end and, digressed on the offensive end. And
Benji, I didn't say that they wouldn't make the playoff. Hell, they could still theoretically make the playoff today. No, I think they're going to. No.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
And I also said that before all these injuries happened too, by the way. But I didn't say national championship and I didn't say SEC championship. I still didn't. So, and bottom line is I'm not sitting here saying these things like all of a sudden it's brand new information, and you damn sure know that. If you've been in here long enough to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, shit, guys are irritating me. I love you guys, but you piss me off sometimes, folks. You gotta killing me here. And
they're goading you, man. They're goading you.
They do, and they know it. They know it.
You're an easy mark.
Yeah, fuck them. I'm still there. No, look, Oklahoma's got to get. We need to see better things. We need to see better things, man. We do. And in the end, offensively, I think what I said last night, I'll stick on this, and I'm not asking you to say this. They need to make this change. They need to make it yesterday, because I think this is that time where you're kind of making decisions that is going to affect who stays and who goes. We've said this a lot of times, that you are constantly recruiting the players that you have on this football team, because you have to be. You have to be. And right now, you're recruiting with what you do. With what you do. Charles, you're good to go. Sooner Cowboys, you're on your last fucking leg. I promise. You're on your last leg.
So I don't know if 8-4 is a miracle, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. They're going to have to get some shit figured out. It's still very possible, but it's not a miracle. It's going to be easy. It ain't going to be easy.
No, it's not. It's not going to be easy. I don't think it's a miracle either. Listen, this defense should give you an opportunity still to win every game you play. But you have to play both. That's only a third of a football team, the defense, right? It's only a third of it. You need to do your share on the offensive side, and that's why I feel like they have to make the decision on what they're going to do with this team. And I think because the guys that on the offense that you do need moving forward after this season and all that, you have to make sure that you're showing them that this is what I said last night, and I'll say it one more time. Right now, Coach Venables owes this not to the fans. He owes this to his football players to show to that what he said to them to recruit them to get them here is true. That he cares more about them than he cares about this coaching staff and the decisions that he made. He should be able to make that pivot. And that's why I feel like you need to make that. To me, I feel like, and I'll just say, I think it was a lazy hire, man. I think it was a lazy hire. And I want to see what happens there. That, if he can, because I think right now that's your thing. That's your thing. If you're Venables, is for you to prove that you're going to be that guy moving forward, you need to make this difficult decision. And I know it's a difficult decision. I've heard people say it's not hard at all. It's a hard decision when you've made that choice, right? You've hired these guys. You've been working with them every day. They mean something to the school, all that. It's not an easy decision to make. I think it's a decision you have to make, though, at this point. But yes, let's change the subject here. What do you see in South Carolina so far? What have you seen with them?
They're good, man. Like their defensive,
they're damn good, right?
their defensive front, dude, if we don't get our shit together, they're gonna eat us up too, up front. And they got another freshman kid on the edge that is a stud. And I mean, that quarterback they got, I can't remember his name right now, but he's kind of had the injury bug, but he's been impressive. Damn, what's his name?
Oh, you talk the quarterback?
Yeah.
Oh, Sellers. Lenore.
Yeah.
Lenore Sellers. He's a stud.
Yeah, he's fast, man. You got to contain that cat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, this isn't a gimme. Like this isn't the gimme that everybody, when they look on the schedule before the season, was like, oh yeah, that's a dub. This isn't a dub. This isn't automatic. We can't just show up and think we're going to get the win. Like we got to come out and we got to play. We got to play better. We have to play better than we did against Texas, or we're going to be, 4-3. Like that's what it's going to be.
I think that's the case every week that you play SEC.
Yeah, from now on, from minus the main game, like we're looking, and I don't look past people. Like I didn't look at go back and check the tape, man. I didn't look past Houston and Tulane. Like everybody was just counting those two games as automatic dubs, and I said, you better get your shit together, and you better come play that game like it's like it means something, or you can lose those games because they're they're not Temple. Houston and Tulane ain't Temple, and neither is South Carolina. That game we have to take that like any other game, or it could go bad. It could go real bad. And you want to talk about, some heat and some fire and some pressure and all the man, come out and look like you come out against South Carolina like you did against Texas, and
yeah,
that's
taking out
not
there
good.
too.
That's
No.
not good. But yeah, we got to come ready, man. Like I said, we got to keep it simple, man. Let's run the ball, let's pound the rock, and play good defense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Look, I think that I just got from last night's show. I'm still getting a lot of that was a lot of folks on there on that show last night, and
Yeah,
I'll tell you that somebody just made a comment in there saying, show me where we get 4 wins. Oh, okay. Well, I would tell you that I think you could get 4 wins out of any of the teams you got left to play against, every one of them, because South Carolina just went into Tuscaloosa and damn near won. All right. But they also don't have their offense leaves a lot to be desired too.
mm-hmm.
Right. Alabama's got having a hard time defensively by a lot. Right. So they're beatable as well. They're very good on offense, but there were times in that game the other day, if I went back and watched some of that, and that they didn't look great offensively. So you're going to be able to do some things with Milroe, and against that offensive line has struggled some, right? There's places that you can get wins. I'm not saying that you necessarily beat Alabama, or that you necessarily beat Ole Miss, or that you necessarily beat LSU, who just beat Ole Miss. What's up there, Bishop Frank? Good to see you in the show. But I think that they're all beatable.
Yeah.
If you're playing well, and you have to be playing, and look, it's all dependent on if you're playing well too. But you have to find a way. You've got to find a way to get something out of this football team, and it's not just one thing or the other. It's not just one thing or the other. There's got to be more to it than just one coach or one play call or whatever it is. If you're a player, I'm going to say this is that as much as anything, these players have to take this shit personal and decide on their own that we're going to go out there and execute this game plan too. Whether we like the game plan or don't, it's what's in front of them. They've got to go get the job done. Nobody can do it for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where it's at. Have some pride about yourself, because the standard is the standard.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do I think that they need to fire Seth Luttrell and Joe John? Yes, I do, guys. Yes, I do. Me personally. Do I think they need to do it yesterday? Yes, I do. Me personally. But I don't have none of us have the power to make that happen. None of us do. Not any of you, not Big Mike, not myself. We don't have the power to make that happen. That's up to the administration, and that's up to Coach V. You know that Kevin Johns is the quarterback coach, JB. You already know that. Everybody knows that.
I don't. If they do get fired, I don't think it'll be in the season. It'll be after.
Yeah, well,
this is what I think.
That's possible. I think that the less that we hear about it, the more you feel that way. That's probably where they're going to hate. To me, I don't like it, and I'm going to tell you why I don't like it. Is the fact that the reason that I'm not a fan of this is that I feel like you are still recruiting these guys. And if they aren't playing for these guys, then you need to show them that you're trying to do the best you can for them. That's just where I feel like it. But then again, maybe you do have to ride it out. We're going to find out. No matter what you do, you got to go play these games, man. You got to go play these games. And then you know what? The chips are going to fall where they may. The truth is, it's not like this is a poverty program. They don't have any money. They don't have the players. They don't have. They can go find a way. So
I'm going to change my opinion. If there's another opportunity in season. It's that second bye week, if it does happen. That way, it gives them a time to, you know, replace them and put whoever they want. You know, get that lined up. But I most likely think it's the end of the season. Um, you know, at this point too, you know, you got to think about recruiting. You know, how does that how does that affect your recruiting? Hold on, man. I got to take this call. Let me.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Here, I'll drop you off there for a second.
Yeah.
Sooner Cowboys. That's enough. Goated. Knock that shit off too. I'm tired of hearing the same stuff from you guys. And you're just coming in here to just start a bunch of shit, Sooner Cowboys. Knock it the hell off. We're about to probably go ahead and get off of here pretty quick anyway after he gets back in here. Look, it's easy to do this. Just pile on, pile on, pile on, pile on. Something that we know is that these guys, generally after you lose to a team like that, I will do that, Bishop Frank. Hold. After you lose to Texas, you end up with a pissed off bunch of Sooners after that. And so I think you probably get a better game out of thing. Yeah, they got to get fire. I agree. Hold on just a second. Bishop Frank, if this doesn't come through right, you may have to get the app for it on your phone. What are you saying? Thank you, Sooner Brandon. Good to see you. All right. All right, here we go. Yeah. Look, I get it. I get it, guys. My chat ticker's stuck again. I'm going to have to. Yeah, I know. It's not stuck now, is it? Oh, it seems like it again. All right. Bishop Frank, that's in there. Good morning. Maurice Osborne. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for coming in. Yeah. I see it, but I guess if it's stuck there, is it stuck on something else? Yeah, it is stuck. I don't know. All right. Dude, let's talk about this guy. Stud. Straight up stud. You got to look for some positives in some places, and this was a positive place. Positive place. All right. You're gone again, Bevo. Done with your ass. Highest rated DB of the week. Yeah, dude, he looked really good, man. He looked really good. He was staying in there, and he's a little undersized, but you can talk about playing with dog tendencies, man. That dude was doing that. I like Eli a lot. I think that Makari Vickers showed some rust when he came back in. I'm still a fan of Makari Vickers. I know that, you know, we immediately want to talk about, you know, who didn't do what or whatever, but Makari's got speed and he's got ability to. There was definitely some of those things that you got to sit, that you want to see him do better at. But I would tell you that I think that when it comes to guys like Eli Bowen, these are the kind of things that make you really happy with this with this coaching staff and their recruiting job that they've done. Because Eli was not a top 100 guy, not a top 200 guy. He was a 3-star. You know, and a lot of people were saying things like, oh, no, you just got that guy because of Peyton. That's not the case. And just so you understand, Texas was really recruiting this guy too. So, and after the fact, and they were doing that after the fact of Peyton already being at OU. So there's another one. First off, this one of those things that should definitely tell you that you have reason to believe in Coach Venables and the staff is because of these kind of guys. That they're not so stuck on how many stars you got or your ranking as they are on what they see from this player, in what they see in him. And the same I would say is true with Big Bill. That, you know, he's put a bunch of 3-stars into the NFL for a reason. He has. And yeah, I'm going to keep on saying it. I don't give a shit what you guys think about it. It's the same. Do they go with some of the younger guys as we move forward? I don't know, maybe. But you got to remember also that we're talking about EPO. He was hurt some. Peyton was a 5-star. Yeah, Peyton, big bone, not Eli. 22, Peyton. His little brother, Eli, was the cornerback that was in the game. And he's a true freshman. Peyton was the 5-star. Eli was a 3-star. But he played fantastic. Peyton played really good too. I think you saw a little bit, you know, and Big Mike was talking about it a little bit. You know, he was saying RSJ had some moments that he wasn't, you know, he missed on a couple this and that. I mean, I think Billy tries to do a little too much sometimes, and he kind of, and it can look, he makes a mistake or whatever, right? But he's a stud. And I think that's where you kind of want to see some of these younger guys so much. And I think when it comes to guys like Powers and Boganowski, a lot of the reason is because of what you hear from the guys that have been players before. Teddy, you know, guys like that. And they're out there saying it. You know, we've heard the same from Dusty Dvorak and even DMAC and stuff. You know, these guys, they notice and they pay attention to these guys, right? I do want to see more of them get some of that valuable playing time as well, but I think you have to be careful with doing that because you're sending, what kind of message are you sending to your outgoing seniors? That you're just giving up on the season, then they give up on the season. You got to be, there's a balancing act that coaches have to do there. Do I want to see offensively? I think that you have to do whatever you got to do because those guys they haven't gotten the job done at this point, right? Does it have to be a splash hire? I don't think it's a hire that needs to be made until the end of the year. I think that you go with who you think is going to be the guy. As far as, well, how do I put this? No, I think that they go with a guy like Emmett to find out if he's the guy or not, right? I think that that's why you want to make the move today, because I know that they respect Emmett Jones on this offense. I know they do. And to be honest with you, I think that they have respect for the other guys too. But I would tell you that we don't know how he would be as a play caller. I don't think anybody does. You could find out a little something about him if you make that change right now, right? But I would also say that when it comes to what is the splash hire though? Is it a guy that was, is it a guy that was a failed head coach, or is that what we're talking about? Or are we talking, what are we saying? I think it needs to be a guy that's going to do a great job. And if that makes a splash in the media, great. If it doesn't, who gives a shit? You know, I'm a Tim Beck guy. I don't know if that's a splash hire or not. And I would have been a Tim Beck guy before they beat Alabama too. I liked him already. But I got to tell you, I like the go-go offense. I think it's cool as hell. And what I really like about it's not what it looks like, it's what they produce with it. You know? Running and throwing, they can do it all. So I'd love to see somebody that's going to put an offense out there that's going to succeed and be really good no matter what. That's where I'm at. I don't care about the splash hire part. A great OC, if that's the splash we're talking about, cool. But I don't think that it needs to be somebody that the entire media knows and loves, or, because that, to me, do I think that Lincoln Riley fits here? I've seen that so much lately. No fucking way it does. It doesn't fit. And you people that are saying it, you're full of shit too. You know better. It's not it's not going to work. They're not, and it's not going to be his brother either. He's already at Clemson first and foremost. And then secondly, that's not even going to happen. It's just not going to happen. The Riley clan is not welcome at Norman. You guys know that. I know it. Right? Need somebody new, not somebody who was okay. This was a splash hire, but that wasn't a splash hire in the way that I said. Oh, it wasn't a splash hire, and he's the right guy. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't care about the splash. I don't care if they know who he is or whatever. I just don't care. I just want to see somebody that's good. I want to see the right guy get the job. That's all. When we see that, and the right guy is just we're gonna move the football. We're gonna have a plan. So it is what it is. I mean, I wouldn't go backwards and start thinking about Lincoln Riley. I think it's so easy to do that. First off, I mean, half the time I think that's a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, I can't really care. I want someone that's never stepped foot in Oklahoma at this point. They've got me traumatized. Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's tough too. I think that's the hard part is like, here we are, you got a bunch of people saying a bunch of terrible things about guys that are Sooners, and that's hard. Stink ass cat. It's our boy. That's tough. It's tough to have to do that because and look, man, not only is Seth a former national champion, so is his dad. This is a Sooner royalty type family, and they're getting killed by Sooner fans because of where this is headed right now. Would we hire Major Applewhite? I wouldn't in a heartbeat. I don't give a shit. Look, I mean, why wouldn't you? Major Applewhite, he's won, and he's been good as a coordinator too. I think he was better as a coach than people give him credit for too. I think that when you end up at a certain place and you don't win necessarily, and it could be for any number of reasons why they don't win, but I don't know what happened to him recently is got him being one of the top candidates out there. But yes, I think that Major Applewhite has done a very good job. I'm surprised that he hasn't been hired as a coordinator at Texas up until this point, right? It surprised me. Now, not necessarily that he's not on Sark's radar, because I could see that. But beforehand, I'm saying it wouldn't have surprised me had he had been the OC at Texas at any point. It wouldn't have. Mm-hmm. Major was actually the better head coach since Tom left Houston. Dana was worse. Yes, I agree. Scott Frost, absolutely. I'll take him in a heartbeat. I like Scott as a coordinator. I don't love him as a head coach. You know. Bishop Frank, I sent that to you, my man. It's in there. I mean, you may have to download that app. Did you text me or something? Yeah. Yep. Oh, listen, I mean, when you look at it, if you got to go back to what you had. You've got 4 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks. It's kind of enough at this point. What does yes sir mean there, Bishop Frank? Kevin Wilson, that's going backwards. I don't see that happening either. It's not going to happen. And I mean, he's the head coach right now. He left Ohio State and he was their offensive coordinator to go take that job. I don't really see it. I don't hate it. I think they almost had one go. Bishop Frank, you trying to get me to put you in timeout or what? I don't want that name coming up in my freaking stream anymore. Oh my God. At this point, I'd rather see hey, Norman could do the job better. I know this. I would hope so. Well, I love Texas State's offense. I love him. GJ Kinney is a stud. Absolutely. But I think he's going to go be a head coach at some point. I mean, I don't know that he takes the coordinator job. I think he takes a head coaching job first. Yeah. You need to text me with what's going on. Why aren't you in here? Let me see if I can find this app for you so you can do it. I don't know. Oh, we got him back. There he is. I just saw you. I was looking over there. I was trying to find something else there for.
No. What I miss?
Not much. Me yelling at people.
Oh, okay.
Not even really that. I didn't really say much to anybody. It's just I got sick of a couple of people. Leftwich at Texas State is Leftwich there? I didn't even know that. I had no idea. Shit, how is that the only place that he got a job after winning a Super Bowl as a coordinator?
Dude, that was crazy, right?
Fucking insane. Yeah, I like him a lot. Yeah, you got a pro style offense if you go there. You know.
Yeah, he took some heat on Brady, that's for sure.
He won a Super Bowl, Brady.
How what we're doing? Are we wargaming and putting out who we want would be our OC if it happened?
I think that's what's happening here, but kind of. I think we're getting some people admitting that that's where we're at, is that you got to do that. And again, I don't want to put you in a position where you're making those comments or anything unless you just want to. But we don't have to stay on this. We don't have to stay on this subject at all. I think in the end, you're gonna have to. They have to do what they have to do as far as that's on Coach Venables, and I think it's all part of what we've talked about in the past. That you're constantly recruiting your team, right? You're still having to recruit your team for next year, whether you're winning or losing. It's a different Leftwich. Okay, I didn't know. I wasn't sure who the hell we were talking about there. I know GJ Kinney runs his own offense, is what I thought. That, and dude was a good quarterback at Tulsa. He was good. I mean, he's been a very good coach. He's the one that developed Cam Ward whenever he was down in San Antonio at Incarnate Word. So GJ is kind of doing his thing, right? Yeah. But anyway, as far as all that goes, I mean, I think there's a lot of guys that are out there. The question was do I feel like they have to make a splash hire? And I was saying, I don't know what a splash hire means. I mean, if we're talking about a media splash, no, I don't care about
Are there other big splash hires out there?
I
Not
think
right now.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think there could be that splash hire type out there. There's a couple of them that you could probably see losing their job soon. Gabe Eichert on staff, yeah, wouldn't hurt anything.
I like listening to Gabe and his offensive takes, man.
Brother, I'm a fan.
Yeah,
I'm a fan. I think a splash hire. I think we're basing that on the fact that a lot of people think that it was a lazy hire to go with Seth. I think it would have been more of a splash had you gone with Matt Wells, because Matt Wells wasn't a failed head coach. He was a fired head coach, but he'd been one of the best offenses in the country for a while. Whenever, they fired him, I think there's a reason why. Yeah, Sooner Legends, I think the UNLV offensive coordinator is a splash.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's a splash. That's a good call. Let's see. Yeah, I think that would be a splash hire. And I like him. I like the go-go offense. I got to tell you. And not because it's all passing and it's so similar to this or that. I don't know how similar it is to anything you've ever seen, but you do see some four wide and some different stuff that you're not used to seeing, right? I do think that they run the shit out of the football out of it, and I love that part. So that's where I think that a guy like him, look, man, I'm a fan of that kid. I think he's really good at what he does. I'm also a fan of some of these other. I would tell you a guy that hasn't been a coordinator yet. Yes, and I'm still on the Tim Beck train. I like Tim Beck a lot.
Yeah,
Brennan Marion, I love. Tim Beck, I love. Those two guys. I guess Tim Beck might be a splash at this point because of the fact of what we've seen recently at Vanderbilt. Yeah. But so that would qualify as a splash for me. But I do think a guy like Rashard Samples, is that how you say his name? Tashard or whatever. Coach Samples that's at Oregon right now. He's their receiver coach. I don't know why he hasn't really made I'm not really sure why he hasn't made offensive coordinator yet anywhere. I'm not sure why he hasn't, but I think it's coming. And the dude can recruit too, man. But Eichert does know his stuff. He does know his stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This ain't no lie. That's never gonna happen, by the way. It's just that's what I was saying. You would never see a Riley at Oklahoma again. Not happening.
He wouldn't come back. He wouldn't come back.
He don't have the balls to do it.
Oh.
First and foremost, but also as long as you have anybody connected to this regime at Oklahoma, that shit ain't gonna go down.
No.
Brian Hartline, I would absolutely hire him as a coordinator. I don't think that's far away. And yeah, that dude can recruit too. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Who would we hire as a QB coach?
Dude, we got one on staff right now.
You're talking, which one are you talking? Lossman, or are you talking, JP Lossman? That's fine.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them out there. Here's
Yeah.
another one. Rumor has it one more loss and Kalen DeBoer will be available. Which is wild to think about.
Dude, what's wild to think about is how most of some of these, I know they're trolling, but like the way some people think, like it's just like instant, seamless transition from,
Anybody to
the
anybody.
greatest college football coach ever to, DeBoer. And it's, dude, if it was that easy, everybody could do it. You know what I mean? You got to give these dudes a little bit of time. Like it's that, that makes me laugh. It makes me chuckle. One more.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Just got there.
Shit doesn't just happen overnight, folks.
Just got there, bro. Like,
yeah,
you just got there. One more loss, and you're gonna fire him already? Come on, man. And when people make those statements, you know what I mean? Like, all right? When you make those statements, who's next? You know what I mean? Like, who's next?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's wild. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Yes, and who the fuck would want the Alabama job if they fired him in 1 year for losing 2 games?
Yep.
Who are you going to hire now? Good luck.
Yeah.
No AD is going to do that. And thank God for one. Thank God coaches that coaches don't pay that much attention to us in the fan base, and neither do the damn athletic directors. Because if we got our way all the fucking time, good Lord.
It would be a shit show.
It would be a shit. You think it's a shit show now? Yeah. That'd be a real shit show.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be crazy.
So, yeah. I mean, good Lord. Because some of the stuff you see on Twitter, and we've seen on Twitter for the last couple of days, is just insanity. It's funny, some of it's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Hilarious. Logical and fan doesn't really fit together there, Greg, all the time. You know what I mean? It's just.
Dude. Hey, man. I was the same way during the game.
Hey, me too.
I was worked up, man. I was worked up.
This is an emotional game. And look, we love our Sooners, man. We want to see them win, and we hate seeing them lose, especially to fucking Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was worked up, man. Like I said, the Cotton Bowl made me do it. All right, so
Cotton Bowl. That was and you know what? Let's close it out on that. Let's close it out on this. The Cotton Bowl was, I've been now, that's my 5th time. Okay. Yeah. And it's got progressively worse.
Dude.
It's got progressively worse. I'm not a fan. Look, and maybe I'm getting fucking spoiled because I've been to enough stadiums to know what it's like to have good amenities. They got shit there.
Dude, I don't even care about amenities. You know what I mean?
Come on, man.
Like, as long as you got somewhere to go to the bathroom and can get some water, like, and some snacks or something to eat.
Yeah, but we didn't even fucking see a score anywhere from around the country, with a lot of damn football games being played that meant something. We couldn't find a score. There's no internet that you can look for it yourself.
Yeah. No scores at all on the scoreboard. That's a huge one. I forgot about that. That is terrible. Like, we went in, like, watching the South Carolina Alabama game, and dude, we had to wait till like after the game to figure out what happened.
Yeah,
it was crazy. It was ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, I don't need, like, all the high speed, amenities or whatever.
It's not just that, but I mean, fucking water. Make it easier to get in. You're literally herding cattle into that fucking front gate of fans. It's so hard to get in there. So hard to get in there. Oh, you're frozen there, Big Mike. Oh, yep, we lost him. That's way too much me right there. Yeah. Willie Corn, like him too. Yeah, I know. Better Wi-Fi. Good. You know what? The main thing that I wanted to see, just better. I mean, the getting into the gate part sucks, man. And it's so fucking hot. It's so hot. And for them to run out of water is not good. But it's gotten worse progressively. It's gotten worse progressively, kind of over the last few years. That was what I was getting at.
Dude,
And go ahead.
getting into the game,
Mm.
like I have never been a
Brutal.
part
Fucking brutal.
of anything like that in my life. Like
Yeah.
I'm glad
Up
we
close
made our
and
way over
personal.
to this. Like we walked up, so the game was scheduled to kick off at 2:30, right?
Mhm.
We walked over, so we left when the team arrived at 12:30, right? We were over kind of on the other side of the stadium. We made our way back. I got a corn dog wrapped in bacon and moved over to get into the stadium. And it was probably 12:45 when we got in line and did not get into the stadium till maybe 2:20, 2:30, like right before the scheduled kickoff. Luckily, the kickoff
Is
wasn't
that
really till about 2:50, but it was crazy. Like there was, I'm gonna send you a picture, Jason.
shit you not?
Can you show it on this? If I send you a
Yeah.
picture?
If you do you see below you a button that says share?
Yeah.
Put that in your computer and then you can share it. You can share it on there.
Yeah. Okay. Let me
And then I'll have to accept it. But yes, you can do that.
dude, I took a picture from back up on top of the steps looking back at the crowd. And
I've
it
got
was
videos
it
like
was
that too. I've
it
got
was
videos.
unbelievable because, like, when I walked in, the stadium was full, and I'm thinking about all the people out there. Like, where are those people sitting? Like, you know what I mean? Like, all those people are still waiting to get in. It
I
was
didn't ever
crazy.
use the bathroom, I gotta tell you, because I guess because I was so dehydrated, I never had to piss. And I was drinking. So when I got there, and I was like, so part of it is that I was probably just 3/4 of a mile away is where I parked probably, and that's probably getting pretty close. I got there
Mhm.
at I want to say 12:30.
Yeah.
12:30. I pulled up there somewhere in that area, and I'm
Mhm.
walking in, and it literally I got there about a minute before kickoff. I found Big Mike and found those guys in that area down there. That's
Yeah.
what I
It was
saw you guys,
crazy.
and it was nuts because I mean, first off, I thought I was on the right side. I guess I wasn't. They were like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to go to the other side," and I'm trying my ass off, but it really is. It's like herding cattle.
Dude, that's what so the
It's
gate that
insanity.
we went
It's
into
insanity.
said B through L,
Yep,
right?
yep, yep,
I
yep.
go in there
And you have to go
and
all the way around the fucking
I had to
stadium.
walk all the way to the other side of the stadium.
Yep,
It
me
was
too.
absolutely crazy.
Nuts.
It was absolutely crazy. And I was like, I'm so confused about what's going on right now.
It was so wild, dude. It was so wild. And look, and I've been there before, and I was fucking lost.
Yeah,
Seriously, seriously.
it was crazy. It was absolutely craziness.
When you
And
running out of water is absolutely unacceptable, though. So when I first got there, and I mean, there was a guy. Whenever this shit's hilarious. So and mind you, I'm not drinking or anything. I had a couple of beers while I was in the stadium, but it was like what Big Mike said, it's just because you need a water. But to be honest with you, so when I get in there and I find everybody and I'm hanging, and then I'm like, I gotta go get some water. I gotta get some water. And somebody outside had looked at me and literally you're on top of each other. Everybody was, and there's people trying to cut through and do all this and that. I'm trying to get further to one side, and the guy looks at me. He goes, "Hey, bro, you're fucking sweating like crazy right now. This
yeah,
is hot." And he goes, "No, but you're getting pale. Are you drinking enough water?" And at the moment, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. No big deal." No, and then as soon as I stop talking to the dude, I'm feeling dizzy as shit.
yeah,
I mean, so I got a water at that point, and then whenever I got in the stadium, now I've just walked around the whole damn stadium, still looking for where I'm got to be, and
Can you see
just
that?
yeah, I got it.
I don't know if I did it right.
Oh nope, that ain't it.
That ain't it. What's that
How
screen
did you
I'm
do
showing?
that?
I don't know. Let me
So open your. No, go back to where you just were on your computer.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is. I got it.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, this is out in front of the damn stadium
Dude.
before you go in.
Hey, and that was, I feel like that was half the, like they
Insane.
had like 2 entrances to the whole, because the other side was probably the same way. And listen, I stood in this line, and if you look back, you know, where I'm pointing back here, that's where I started. You know what I mean? An hour and a half to get up there. It was
Yeah.
just, it was craziness. I couldn't believe it.
It's wild, right? It's just
I couldn't believe it.
absolutely nuts. It's
Yeah.
nuts.
It was crazy.
Dude, I was like, yeah, and you know what, guys? I've got a bunch of that stuff on my camera too. It's fucking crazy. All right, I guess there may be some breaking news. Let me see if I can find it.
Uh-oh.
See what we got. Nothing yet that I'm seeing. Who are you? Where are you seeing this from? Chicken. Just glad that he didn't buy all the Vaseline. Yikes, chicken. Damn. Gross. You see
I don't see
anything?
that.
No. I'm looking at the. I'm gonna look at the Tulsa World real quick. Nothing there. I'll go back to Twitter real quick, but I don't see anything. Not yet.
Oh, well, never mind. That's not new.
Yeah, nothing yet. Nothing yet from anybody that I listen to. I've seen all the same stuff that you're seeing on Twitter there, but
Hey, I want to tell you something, man. One of my favorite follows on Twitter, and shout out OU Christy. God bless her, man.
she's fucking awesome, isn't she?
She is a gem. Oh man,
Or yeah,
dude, she's so
foul
funny.
mouth little Jim. I love her.
Good, she's funny.
She's a trip.
Yeah,
She is a trip.
she makes me laugh every day. I appreciate you.
Yeah, me too. Shout out to Christy. Shout out to OU Christy, foul mouth little Jim that she is. She's awesome. Is it just click? It's clickbait, guys. Come on. They're hoping for it and saying a lot of this stuff. I saw that on Saturday night.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah.
What's the deal with this Purdue?
Which ones?
Purdue guy, Graham Harrell. I haven't heard
Yeah,
of him.
he was the quarterback at Texas Tech under Mike Leach.
Okay.
Played with Michael Crabtree. He's been a coordinator in the past. He's been successful as a coordinator. He definitely knows what he's doing with this offense, with that offense. But I think that's assuming we're going to stay pigeonholed in the air raid, which I don't know that you necessarily want, but maybe. Okay. I don't have a problem with him and I think that a lot of like Jay, I saw his tweet that he put out last night, Jay from Unfair Sports.
Yeah.
He was SOC at North Texas with Mason Fine. That's true. Forgot about that though. I did forget about that. Stephen G. Good call.
Yeah.
He was also the OC at West Virginia most recently that I knew before going to Purdue. And wasn't great there. And they just fired him at Purdue pretty much. So I don't know this is the guy we want. But I know that was Jay. That was what he was looking at.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a terrible look on the program when every time they show the OC has a fat dip in his mouth. Why? Why does that look? He's a football coach, bro. That, yes. Of course. Are we assuming that that's Graham Harrell? Graham Harrell there's Zofix? Because I don't know that I make that assumption, but whatever. Again, I think that any of these guys that we've talked about could do it. Tim Beck, you're going to tell me that Tim Beck can get that job done with Michael Hawkins? Because I bet he can.
Dude,
not for nothing.
I'll do a lot of shit to make that happen.
Listen, bro, I'm a fan of our guy. Big fan of Tim Beck. I'm a big fan of the quarterback there too. Yeah, he is not Michael Hawkins.
Yeah.
He's not as an athlete. He's a stud and he's a winner. He ain't Michael Hawkins. Yeah. Tim Beck can make him look like he's looking. He would do a lot there. That's my number one candidate. That's my number one candidate.
Dude, yeah, for sure. For sure. Like what I need,
I know that the Texas fans want to talk shit because he's been at Texas and didn't do well. They've sucked at that time. So it is what it is.
So I'm just looking on Twitter right now. When I was looking at that Tennessee linebacker Keenan Peely tore his ACL out for the whole year.
Wow.
Peely was
good too, man.
Yeah, he was the one that had he was out. I feel like he's like had an elbow or like tore his bicep or something last year and missed the whole season too.
If you want a top level offensive coordinator, you have to.
Shit, Billy Napier said that Graham Mertz tore his ACL too.
Yep. If you want a good offensive coordinator, you got to let him hire his own staff. No doubt.
Wow.
But I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And maybe, I mean, here's the thing. Again, if we're talking about certain coaches that we don't want to see there too. Okay. I mean, I'm going to tell you that for the people that are on the fire Big Bill thing, I would tell you that that's not going to go down. I don't know of a coach that would get hired that would want to make that decision. But that's just me. I could be wrong, but I don't see it going down like that.
Nope. Like I said, I think it'll be if it does happen in the year when the season's over with.
Mm-hmm.
It's my opinion.
Yeah, I think that. I don't think that that's. Yeah, I think that no matter when they get, no matter when they make the hire or whatever. Or if they were to fire him right now, they're not going to make a hire today either way. That's going to take time. I think they're going to make that at the end of the season, no matter what. Yeah. I think if you wanted to find out if Emmett Jones is that guy, then you make the fire now to find out if Emmett is that guy. What's wrong with Matt Wells? Not a thing. Not a thing's wrong with Matt Wells. I think he should have been the guy probably. But I don't think that you get to make that choice. If we're going to get rid of one, you're going to get rid of however many that guy decides he wants to get rid of. They're going to want to bring their own people.
Yeah.
This is how it is.
He's right down the street. Matt Wells is right down the street from me.
Oh, is he? No shit.
At K-State.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, well, I knew that, but I didn't know. I mean, are you saying he lives in your neighborhood?
No, not at all, dude.
Oh, okay, I was like, what the
I can't afford those type of houses, bro. Come on, man.
By the way, though, that was awesome what you did on Twitter when you showed me that you put that up at that dude's house as a Texas fan. You put up the OU flag.
Yeah, that's my neighbor right up the street. Yeah,
that was awesome. What was his reaction to all that?
So it was actually kind of crazy, right? I almost got the cops called on me, I think.
Nice.
So when I went up there, I kind of climbed up the side over the rail.
Right? It's not a small man we're talking about, folks. By the way,
and so the front porch, right? So the ring camera. I didn't want them to see me doing it on ring camera, right? So I snuck along the side and I set my hat on the ring camera before it triggered, right? So it was just dark.
Very well done.
When I set the flag wasn't like the OU flag, right? Because his flag kind of went over the pole and hooked up at the top. Mine had the two eyelets. So I put the OU flag on there, had to run down, get a zip tie to come back up to my house. And as I was finishing up the zip tie and trying to, you know, escape without being seen, the neighbor across the street saw me. She was pulling in, coming home for, she was coming home for something, like a neighbor across the street. Well, she didn't recognize me, right? Because I had a hat on, I had a hoodie, and I was trying to look, you know, trying to look, trying to cover up myself. And so she took a picture and sent it to my neighbor's wife. And he was actually out deer hunting, so he didn't hear it. He didn't see anything. And when he got back, he got all the notifications, and he knew exactly what I was doing right away. He called about. He's like, "Hey," he's like, "That's Bo. You just ain't seen him with his beard, And he's like, "I guarantee." He's like, "There's an OU flag or some OU on the house when I get home." And,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fucking awesome, dude.
yeah, it was pretty funny. But
That's
yeah, so they like the wife, my neighbor's wife up the street, she was getting nervous. She thought somebody was messing with her house. So she almost called the cops because she seen the ring camera trigger, but it was black. It was all black because I had my hat over it. It was dark. And then, a couple minutes later, the neighbor sends her a picture of me walking away from the house, down the street. Then the neighbor up there sent the picture to my wife, and she was like, "Is that your husband?" And my wife told my wife was like, "Look, and she sent me a picture." I said, "Hey, just reply boomer." But yeah, almost went.
At least your wife knows how to play along too, though.
Yeah, yeah. I told her I was going to do it the other day, and she was like, "They're all off on Friday. Everybody's off." And I was like, "Damn, you're right."
Perfect. Oh well.
When I was dropping my oldest off at high school, I noticed that there were no cars out there, and I was like, "Oh, he's probably went hunting." So I was like, "I got opportunity."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty fun though. It's all good fun. Wish we could have played a little better, but he rubbed it into. Like when I got out the stadium Saturday night, I had plenty of
you
hook 'em
asked for that.
horns
Come on, you asked
gifts.
for that. Yeah,
I
you asked
deserve
for
it. It is. I could take it, man. I dish it out. I could take it. Like I'm not like
facts.
it is what it is, man.
Kimberly K, I just watched the old Catholics versus Convicts legendary stories last night too. Ed, dude, that is one of the better stories of all. The way that, and those guys made a shit ton of cash off of that too, by the way. The Catholics versus Convicts stuff. Oh, they made some money. And those were great football games. And that's what you remember too, was that, them and against Florida State as well. Is like some of that stuff, it just goes down like that. These games are going to happen, right? These games are going to happen. There's going to be times that it's going to be, you're going to have some things that don't go your way. And, right now it looks like completely doom and gloom. But I think you guys, we have to remember that they're still 4-2. And they're going to have chances to win football games. Can they lose them all too? Yeah, but they could win them all. We just have to relax.
Yeah.
Let's see, folks, real quick too.
11:45 next week, huh? South Carolina kick.
Yeah, early kick next week. 11:45. You know what? We've got 3,953 subs so far. We are less than 50 away from the 4,000 mark here. I'd love it if all you folks that are in here trolling as much as you could are at least subscribers if you're going to do it. Become a subscriber. Also, real quick, something I wanted to bring, and I want to recap the weekend of college football, then we're going to get out of here. Become a member of the Hall of Fame Mafia. That's our channel membership for as low as $2.99 a month to become a voter in the Hall of Fame Top 25. For all you folks that are already members of the Hall of Fame Top 25, if you haven't already gotten your poll out, look in your email. And if you don't see anything in there, then you need to look in your spam for your email. If you voted once, we have your email. So you're going to have that in there. If not, you'll be able to find it as well. I'll put it on our Discord. But get in there. Make sure you guys do that vote. It's hard to relax when we have a Pee Wee OC coach. Okay, yeah, I get it, T-Boomer. I get it, guys. Continuing, please do vote in the Hall of Fame Top 25. If you want to become a voter, you should do that. You should definitely do it. Okay. Who do we got here? Bishop Frank already voted. Thank you. You were one of the late ones. Big Mike, did you vote?
I'm about to right now. I'm pulling it up.
Better make sure you do, sucker.
I had to wait. Hey, I had to wait for all the. I almost did it Saturday evening, but I had to wait for all the games.
And see, and I had sent that shit out on Friday.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and I was like, fuck, I may not have should have done that because we're gonna get a lot of pissed off Sooner fans voting crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, there's Oklahoma obviously did drop out of the top 25 in the AP. I'm assuming the same in the coaches poll. I haven't looked. But
it's just gotta happen.
You don't have a poll. You sure
Not
about
a very
that?
good team right now.
Okay, I'll resend them out. But they were sent on Friday. They were sent on Friday, and it shouldn't be coming into your spam, Sooner Legend, because you and I email back and forth a lot, so that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll resend it all out here in a bit.
Let's talk about that Ohio State game. Did you mention anything about that? Ohio State?
Not a ton, but obviously, you had Dylan Gabriel did his thing, led a big comeback, and Ohio State took a header, man.
Yeah, that was a. So I was thinking about this last night, and I'm glad I looked at this poll because that's what made me think about Oregon. Like, let's be honest. All right, let's be honest about this. Do we think that Coach Lanning and that 12th man on defense was planned, or was it luck? Because I feel like so were the umpires and the referees, were they paying attention? Because I feel like if they known that there was 12 people out there, they would have threw the flag prior and stopped the clock. You know what I mean? And identified 12 players on the field, or would they let it play out? Because if it's offense, they got 12, they'll throw the flag and 12 in the huddle or whatever.
Well, yeah, and then there's a runoff though if you do that shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But was it luck or was it skill?
All right.
Because I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, I'm not one of these Dan Lanning is God dudes, first and foremost. Okay. So because of that, I don't buy that shit. Okay. I'd like to think that, I mean, I guess if you're look, man, if you're a Ducks fan, then you can fucking say that if you want to. I'm gonna tell you I don't buy it. Okay. This is the first time he's done anything worth a damn. He hasn't won another top 10 game. He was 0-3 against DeBoer with better talent. I don't know that I believe all that shit. Now, that doesn't mean it's not the case that he did. I think they screwed up and it was luck. That's me.
Yeah. That's what I tend to think they got lucky. I don't know, man. Like I was watching it on Twitter, and people were talking about it on Twitter, and they're like, "This next level thinking," and he knows the rules, right? And I was like, do they let that go if they got 12 on the field? Mm-hmm. Do they let that? I think they usually let that play, right? They let that play and throw the flag and let the offense let it play, or is that something they stop? Because I can't remember.
I think
that's something.
You know what? That's a good question. I'm not positive about it. It feels like they would let that play out and let the offense have a free shot, right? Either way, though, that gives, if you don't call that timeout there and you run that play,
that's what they're saying. That's how it benefited Oregon. They took the penalty in exchange for time running off the clock and only gave up 5 yards or whatever the penalty was for having 12 on the field.
Mm-hmm. Well, it would definitely, the clock would actually, it's going to stop either way in the last 2 minutes, though, right? They would let it play out.
The play, like, so the play, like the time that the play burned clock, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I feel like it's a lucky deal.
I felt like it was lucky too.
I don't, because look, not for nothing, but Dan Lanning doesn't seem like football brainiac guy. Okay,
Yeah.
let's just be real here. I don't see him as that. Not hating on Coach Lanning. I know he does a really good job, but I don't know. It's not who I see here. That he just out-thunk everybody. Because he's also the guy that decided 3 times in a row not to kick a field goal inside of Washington in the red zone when he could have gotten a field goal, and any one of those field goals would have beaten Washington the first time last year.
They had a
Anyway,
nice piece on Dan Lanning and his wife and family in the time at Memphis on ESPN, and when she had some bone cancer, and that was a nice little segment right there on the Lanning family. It's pretty good. If you ain't seen it, check it out, man. It's out there. It's pretty
yeah, I'll just
pretty
check
good.
it out. I
Yeah.
like the guy. I think he's full of shit though. As the next coach out there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And I do feel like he's gotten a lot more love before he should have as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, good for them though. Good for them. I mean, good for Oregon, good for DG. Because he did go out there and do his damn thing. And there's something about this week for that kid that he handles business because we know what he looked like in last year's Red River, and can't say enough about what he did the other day because look, Ohio State is flat out loaded.
Yep.
Flat out loaded. Yeah.
Yeah,
Got scored on.
I feel like they should have gave Ohio State one last play with 1 second because he slid with his knee down, and I believe he got the first down, right? And so the clock should have stopped to set the chains.
Well, but I don't know if you can get a snap off though.
But yeah, they could have called timeout.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had a timeout left, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, should have slid earlier, Will.
Yeah, it's good. What a game, though, right? What a game!
I wish I would have watched it, man. I wish I would have watched it.
I have it. I have all the games kind of set on my DVR on YouTube TV. So
yeah, I'd like to watch it live though.
I do too. Once you know about it, it's not as fun. Yeah. But I mean, certainly it is what it is when I'm going to rewatch every Oklahoma game probably 5 times, and I've already seen this one enough to make me unhappy. But yeah. Again, long fucking ride home the other night. So lonely, long ride home. What did you see what seemed to be a bad snap to Hawkins? The clip of what seemed to be a bad snap to Hawkins. No. What are we talking about? I'll go looking for it, I guess, but it's I'm not sure what you mean. Yeah.
But I'm tell you, that running back from Boise State, dude, Jesus, man, what a stud.
Dude, really? No shit. He's got some runs. Now that was dude, that guy is a bad dude. He either just got himself paid a lot for the NFL or he's got himself paid a lot to go somewhere else than Boise.
Dude, he's on pace to break Barry Sanders' record.
That's insane too.
That's what I'm saying.
That's insane. So wait, just what record though? Are we talking about the all-purpose yards record?
The rushing
record. Okay.
That's like 20-something hundred or 2000s.
It's crazy shit, right?
Yeah, it's like 600 yards or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's something else. Hey man, thanks for coming in, T Boomer. See you soon.
Absolutely insane. Yeah, dude, he's got so I like. Come on, man, just let us get like half of that running production at Oklahoma, man. Just give us a little bit of that.
Yeah,
Jesus, man.
All right, so you put it in the Discord. Let me see this. You put it in the Discord? Is that where you put it there, Kim?
Yeah, man. You got to you got to rank Army too now. You got to rank Army. Got to rank those jokers.
Yeah. Well, don't make me say what I want to say now. Being an Air Force guy, I'm like, fuck y'all.
6-0.
I don't know, dude.
Like,
No, they're really good. Really good.
Navy too. You got to get them. Yep, they're at
They're,
the 20.
they're really good. They
They
beat the shit out. They've already both beat the shit out of Air Force, I think, haven't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I don't like it. Okay, I'm gonna have to share this.
I just want to talk about.
All right. Let me move this real quick.
Is that the Mike Leach?
It sounded like him.
Yeah, is that where he talked about like all the like who would win in a fight of like the mascots? Because that's hilarious.
No, that's not the one he's talking. There's a bad
Oh.
snap. There's a bad snap that I'm trying to pull up. So let me move this up. All right. Can y'all see that pretty good? Let's see.
Yeah, I think it's good enough.
It's not playing. Why not? I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't know what's happening. This is bullshit.
What does that say? 4 something left in the first?
It's playing.
There it goes.
There it goes. Whoever like sent this clip sucks at this. Here it goes.
Can't trim it a little bit, bro. No, I think he went the running back went the wrong way.
Yeah.
Was that the one with Tatum?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, all the linemen were pulling to the right. That's that sprint draw counter looking play I was talking about. Watch look at see all the running backs. I don't know. Is that the same one? Oh
That
no,
was
that's
a weird play. That's what I was saying. They all seem to look like that sprint draw shit just looked like a bunch of busted plays to me.
That's the one that's supposed to be a shovel. Look at the tight end right there waiting for the ball.
Yep.
But that guy's kind of in the lane.
Let me get back to the fucking.
Yeah. What shoulda, coulda, woulda, man. Moving on.
Yeah. I don't know. It looked weird to me too. I don't know exactly what happened, but
Snap was a little off.
the snap was a little off.
Yeah.
But I don't know that was all it was. I think that there could. It looked like a busted play to me, though. It looked like a busted play. That's what I'm getting at. To me,
that was supposed to be the shovel pass.
Yeah.
Misdirection with the shovel pass coming underneath, right?
I think so too.
That was
certainly. I hope that wasn't the play design. I'll just put it that way.
I think it was.
The look of it right there with Tatum out in front of him like that. That was
they're trying to draw them out to the
shovel pass.
They're trying to draw them out on a speed option, and it hit the shovel pass underneath to the tight end, which it was kind of there, but that dude was slow playing it and kind of took out the shovel pass lane.
Okay.
They had misdirection going out that way. Yeah.
And you see Bauer right there. He's there.
Yeah.
You got a lane. If he catches the ball, you probably get 15, 20 yards out of it, at least.
Yeah.
Yep. Or that's not. Is it Bauer or is it Roberts?
I can't tell. I'm trying to find that on because that was Josh McHouston that posted that.
Yeah.
And
Wild.
I'm trying to see something about Waterboy moment, right? I don't see it.
It was Roberts, is what Kim Hurst is saying.
Oh, was it? Okay, yeah.
Which they wouldn't have been looking for him
No.
necessarily because he hadn't really been getting any looks. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't hate that play call. I don't hate the play call. I just don't. I hate that we didn't execute
Oh,
it. And here's
yeah.
again another thing to say: as quick as we are to want to blame this on coaches, that's a mishap on the part of the players.
I get the basic idea.
So that whole part of the video that we were watching where it wasn't moving was him explaining like how he doesn't understand the play. You know,
It was
or
the question.
Yeah. So what he does is he'll take film from each game and do like a little voiceover and like, draw on the screen or whatever. It's
Sure.
pretty entertaining.
I
I
think
like some.
McQuistion's one of the. I'm a Josh McQuistion fan.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm
Yeah.
a big time fan of his.
Yeah. He just does some breakdowns.
Right. Well, I don't want to use. I can't just use their stuff on the show though. And like what his breakdown is because that's. I'm not going to do that without their permission. Number one, I respect them. Number two, I can get in trouble with my channel.
Yeah,
so
that's what it was. It was Roberts. It was Roberts. That was the quote. That's the only reason I was looking at it.
No, I love it too. I think it's a good. It's good to see that there. But what's the question? I guess you're asking. Watch the tight end. He says, "What is the game plan to beat South Carolina this week, in your opinion?" Well, I mean, I would hope it's you need to attack that defense early in the secondary. I think a little bit. You got to get them out of the box, man, because this is a big, nasty defensive line to begin with. If you add every linebacker and a safety coming up into the box too with them, and you don't try to hurt them by doing when they do that, you're fucked. I mean, at some point you've got to get some relief there, and there's no way to really get a hat on a hat if you don't, because you're just not going to have those guys there. Max Protect wouldn't get them there. You got to hit some of these deep balls. I'd send 4 deep if you got to. The timing because of the snap. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go back and look at that here in a little bit later. Maybe we'll talk about it here in the next day or two. We'll get into it or whatever. But I definitely want to get more into what we've been talking about as far as we need to talk more about South Carolina moving forward, and we'll do that. But, kind of finishing it off, we've been going damn near 3 hours here, so we'll go ahead and kind of call it there. Anything else you wanted to add about what you saw, what you expect moving forward? What's about this game coming up?
Yeah, like I said, we better come strapped up, ready to play. We got to be more physical. We gotta, it could get real hot if we don't perform well against South Carolina, and I don't think anybody wants that. So yeah, the boys better focus and strap in, and defense has to show up, man. And
in a big way.
it's got it. Hey man, we didn't do exactly. We didn't do, and my keys to win are the same as they were against Texas, right? We got to run the ball just good enough and win the turnover battle. And I don't think we did any of that. We kind of abandoned what was working in the run game. So yeah, I think it holds true.
Yeah, definitely. What's up there, Marcus? Good to see you, man. We're just about to get out of here. Yeah, Hawkins playing catch up. Yeah, man. I think you're right, though. I think that the key is the same as what we talked about last week. I think that probably hits the nail on the head. Win the running game. And that's not an easy thing to do against a team that runs the ball. They run the ball better than they throw it to. We're just talking about what's going on with Oklahoma. I think you've seen a lot of the same stuff at South Carolina. they're not putting a lot of points on the board aside from last week. And I think a lot of that speaks more to what you're seeing from Alabama on their defensive end, that they're just not as good. They're definitely not as good against mobile quarterbacks, which is why it probably puts you in a position to have a chance to win against Bama 2 in a few weeks, as we move on down about a month now. But I would just say that defensively, you got to get out there and make some big plays. Offensively, though, I think that you need to find a way to go for the throat, man, quickly, and get them out of the box. Just find a way. Don't turn over the football. Find a way to keep them out of the box. I think the only way that you're going to get a running game going is to prove that you will and can go downfield. I think that there's no two ways around it.
We got to throw the ball. We got to throw the ball like further than 10 yards downfield every time. Like not even the deep ball, bro. That intermediate stuff, 15, 20 yards downfield. You got to stretch them a little bit. You got to be able to threaten them and prove that you can do it. Because right now we haven't proved shit.
Right. Benji, you're not going to talk shit about Billy Bowman on this program. Not happening. Don't give a fuck what y'all think about what he said. Don't give a fuck about what y'all think about what he said. Just so you know. All right. Appreciate everybody coming in here. Yes, make sure that you log on and see Big Mike again this afternoon with Mike the Legend on Mike and Mike on Mondays. He'll be over there as well. We will I may actually hop over there too and I'll holler at you guys a little bit too.
Yeah.
But yeah. Appreciate you coming in, Big Mike.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
And yeah, guys, glad everybody else popped in here as well. Make sure you share the stream. If you didn't already hit that like button, why the hell not? We've had well over 500 people in here today, and we only have 37 likes. Come on, man. Help us out here. We'd appreciate it. All right, folks. Thanks a lot for coming in, and we will see you all on the next one.